And so, here we are again, in another thrilling adventure of the kobolds. Last time, you all had invaded the utmost top of the spire of Areolarthus. And in doing so, found what you had came to acquire. The staff of Areolarthus, which, in theory, could be used to activate the obelisk and turn back time, with the consequence of possibly erasing a good chunk of history to go back to that original point in time to which the obelisk was activated. Or, as another theory, use the staff to destroy the obelisk and perhaps eradicate the arcane blight that is currently inflicting and persisting over the city. In addition, you had found, in your travels in the Spire, some other choice artifacts, such as a spell scroll with the power to conjure forth a massive comet that could decimate a wide area, inflicting a significantly major amount of damage upon anything in that area. And as well as in this chamber, you had found the spellbook of Areolarthus, some vials of quicksilver and mercury, some crystal vials, or the crystal rod, among other things, such as a spell scroll that could summon the beast of legend, the Tarask. With these powerful artifacts at your disposal, you attempted to escape the tower, but you were accosted by a few annoying setbacks. The fact that you were on a timer, as Areolarthus had entered the spire, and the fact that an accidental usage of resilient sphere had uprooted a living demiplane from the ground, and the separation from that earth caused the demiplane to implode upon itself and thrust out all of the still living, quote unquote, occupants, the constructs and of the Magian and the flesh golems that resided in that demiplane, to which you had to fight your way out and then leave the spire with Areolarthus screaming in frustration. In order to save some time and hide, you went to the one place that you had not visited in the city, what appeared to be a simple prison close to the entrance of the spire that you had entered from. After spending some time to rest here, you heard a strange sound, a clanging sound to be specific, and you had tried to investigate the source of this noise, to which it led you to a simple infirmary with seemingly no one inside. But what was strange to all of you as you had entered the infirmary was that there was a presence that you felt that sort of tickled the backs of your mind, almost as if it was trying to read your surface thoughts, kind of like read into your very essence. And you determined that there was something in the room with you, strapped to the central table. After some back and forth with some telepathic communication, you determined there was a living creature sequestered to this table using strong magic, to which you had tried to dispel it in various different ways without actually using dispel magic, to which you had determined that the actual key to unlocking this creature was originally what appeared to have been a lockpick, but was cleverly disguised to avoid its true nature as the key to unlocking the creature from its prison. To which, as it was released, the illusion slowly faded from the feet and slowly dwindling to the head, seeing a pair of dark leather boots and dark studded leathers, a green emerald green cloak with a furry trim around the neck. Black skin, long, straight white hair, and lavender-colored eyes. The face of Drizz'ting, staring back at you all. And that is where we pick up from last time. As Hawks Hagnar, you see the visage of Drizz'ting in front of you. How do you respond?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, Mr. Doerden yourself! How did you get here? Oh my goodness, I'm such a huge fan. Are you okay? Can I help you stand up?
You will see the individual slowly get up from the table. You can see the individual kind of like you hear a few bones popping like. Yes. Thank you, my young friends. I didn't quite catch your name.
Oh, I'm Hawks Hagnar. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I mean, yes, in a literal sense,
Yes.
huge fan.
Emphasis on huge. You see here that kind of looks up at you.
Could I get you to autograph my mask?
Ah, I see no reason why not to. Come, closer. Can someone get me a pen?
I think I have one. Let me check. By the way, he is a huge fan of yours. He talks about you all the time.
Ah, it's quite flattering.
Yeah, I've got a Scrimshop ink pen here. And some ink.
Excellent.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, what's the matter?
I was gone for a hot second.
Oh, I thought you were here. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. My dad came over and we were talking trim stuff for the nursery, and just getting up.
Gotcha. Okay.
All good.
Okay, gotcha. What was I saying? Oh yes. Drizz'ting picks up the Scrimshot pen, kind of dips it with the ink. So who? Hawks Hagnar, you say?
Yes, and it's spelled like, and Hawks will start making sounds in like the giant language and spell his name out in giant.
Ah, I see. Could you write that out in common or spell it out phonetically?
Yeah, here. Hawks will spell his name. It's Hox.
Yes, and H-O-X. It just slowly scribbles it out on the mask, like as slowly as you're enunciating it.
And then there's a space.
Yes, quite common. I had assumed so.
And then the last name is Hagnar.
Hagnar. There we go. Of course, little flourish to my biggest fan, Hawks Hagnar from Drizz'ting.
Oh my goodness. Hey, this gives me an idea.
What sort of idea were you thinking of?
Hey, you know, way back when, I've heard stories about you helping fight the White Dragon icing death.
Ah, yes, I remember that fight fondly. Tell me, what do people say of that grand journey?
That you did good.
Ah, yes, it's one thing to live it out, you know. Another thing to hear what other people say.
Right.
So,
we've talked about that story a couple times. It sounds like you had a huge part in taking that dragon down.
Indeed.
Fancy another go?
What do you mean?
I think Hawks was getting at that. I'll let him finish.
So, Icing Death's mother, Arveatress, has given us some problems, and we were planning on slugging it out with her. And we would be honored to have the famed and legendary dragon slayer Drizz'ting, the one who defeated her very, very evil son, Icing Death, at our side. Oh, what's happening? Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Sure thing, sure thing. You'll see he'll kind of like regard you for a moment. Ah, yes. Ah, well, naturally, if I can slay one dragon, I can slay another. Ah, if only I had my effects with me. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have my weapons with me at the time. But I'm sure, if I have the correct weaponry available to me, I'm sure that I could slay another.
Yeah, well, I guess if you're in prison, then they might have your stuff around somewhere.
Ah,
Good
perhaps.
quality magic swords like that. Those are pretty sturdy for a pretty long time. We could probably find. Let's search the place so we can find them. I've always wanted to take a look at them at that kind of thing. Anyway,
Sure.
if you don't mind, of course.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. Please, by all means, just search, and let's search together. And he'll kind of like
So-
begin looking throughout the room.
Out of curiosity, how were you captured?
Ah, that, my friend, is a very strange tale. You see, I was fighting many wizards all at once. They had me backed into a corner, and I was hit by a flash of light, and before I knew it, I was here. Just seemingly transported. It was a bit of an... I recall something about a, kind of like, thinks for a minute. Something about a bag being hid into another bag, and it created this strange explosion, a bright light, and I was sent here. That's the next. When I woke up, I was strapped to this table. I was being experimented on.
Huh.
Well, that sounds dreadful, but also exciting, which means
yes.
it's exactly the sort of thing that you would get into.
Yes, in my many adventures. But of course, let us search, shall we? And he seemingly kind of like starts looking through. And of course, you all can make an investigation checks of your own.
So we need to find you a pair of magic swords. Do they need to be your specific magic swords?
Well, I, Drizz'ting, am nothing if not adaptable. You can just give me an old sword, and I will work my magic with it. Or perhaps if you have any something a bit more ranged, I'm also good with.
I already gave my crossbow to that skeleton over there.
Let's see what I got here.
You see,
This-
you see Velen kind of look over, kind of like looking at this display. And you see, she just has this mixture of confusion and just like she just does not know what to make of this at all. Let me see here.
I have a crossbow that I could loan out.
Ah, excellent, my small friend. I will gladly take that off your hands. It'll help me better defend myself and you all, of course.
You know, we could, before we go after our Arveatress, we could stop by the trading posts and probably find something. I mean, heck, maybe your weapons even ended up there if they were scattered.
Perhaps. It's hard to say. Everything's a bit fuzzy. The explosion must have knocked out a bit of my memory as well. Hard to recollect, but it's very possible. Perhaps it could still be here in the city.
We need to go looking for the panther, too.
What?
Yes, my panther. I don't believe they made it with me through the explosion. Otherwise, they might still be here.
I'm just curious, what were you doing fighting all those mages?
Well, you see, I was investigating at the time. A wizard had been murdered, you see. And I was trying to
Oh.
investigate the, shall we say, culprit of this murder. And in the investigation of said murder, I was waylaid by this gang of wizards. Apparently, there was some big conspiracy.
Apparently.
But either way, I would be more than happy to help you along your way. But I must say, I would love to get back to what I was doing. But I am more than happy to help you explore what's kind of looks around left of this city. You can see he gets a look of confusion, kind of like looking around. Must admit, I've not seen much more than this infirmary.
What year was it? What year is it? I'm asking Drizzt.
That's a good question. He kind of like taps his head. So I must have gotten my head dinged up quite a bit there. I actually don't. What year is it actually? I don't know how long I've been out since that explosion and whatever magic that wizard was using on me.
I mean, you gotta remember, the esteemed Drizz'ting would be, like, approaching, what, 400 years old at this point? 300?
Yeah, you all know that he's not an ancient figure. Like, he's like a very recent figure. He's still very much alive as an elf.
Okay.
But I mean, he still, like, helped found, his friend founded one of the tribes of the Tundra.
The elk tribe specifically, yes.
So we know that he's, like, recent as in, like, 100 years, right?
Something along those lines, maybe a bit more.
And then, as an elf, yeah.
He's like, well, that's out of character knowledge.
So, like, if he was, like, 150 or 100, yeah, he could be, like, anywhere from 200 to 300, I think, would be an okay estimate.
Which would make sense that Hawks would know this, being the super fan that he is.
Were these wizards all one race, or were they various races, or what?
Oh, they were various races. Elves, humans, sometimes half-elves, I believe was one of them. A very decent mix of peoples.
Okay, so it wasn't just those dark elves we found skulking about over outside of the city. I was wondering if that might have been them.
They might have been down here to go after Drizzt. They knew he was down here.
Maybe.
That's
I mean,
possible.
like, if he was captured here, he must have somehow been sent all the way back to, well, thousands and thousands of years ago when Drizz'ting actually fell.
Kind of a good point.
Roll insight checks if you don't mind.
It's kind of a good point, considering that you couldn't teleport into the city until recently.
Yeah. I think we're all, like, reasonably aware, like, reasonably certain that this is full of shit, right? Like, we're not. Maybe not. Shit.
I think I have advantage on insight from the
I
stone
neither
room.
know who this is, nor aware that he is bullshitting this.
Oh.
Wow, Hawks actually beat Meepo's insight. That's pretty
Oh,
impressive.
this is way too fitting.
It would be here, wouldn't it?
It
Yeah,
would
this
be.
is the one time where it's like, yep.
So,
We're not in a cave.
you're right. We're not in a cave. Well, no, hold on. We're in a cave. Therefore, this is real. This is not a dream.
Because we're inside of the ice cave underground with this city inside of that.
It's true. So, yeah, Scales, like, you don't know who this is. Like, as far as you can tell, from, like, how much, like, Hawks has been telling you about this, like, oh, man, from how many wacky adventures he's had, this is totally plausible. It's weird. Some of it doesn't make too much sense, but, like, all right, whatever. Skinneck, you're kind of thinking the same thing. I will say you maybe feel, like, a bit suspicious, given what Meepo just said, what you said, about, this whole glacier not being able to be accessed essentially from the outside. So it does strike you as odd with your Arcana expertise. Meepo, I will say there are little ticks that you're noticing as you're speaking with this individual. Obviously, they're very, very gallivanting and very ha ha ho hum. You get this sense that there are elements to what he was saying with the wizards that does seem like he's telling the truth. Like at the very least, he seems very confident. But there are other things, specifically when Hawks is calling out certain things, oh yes, you've done this and you've done that. He just kind of nods along. He doesn't really add any more detail with it. More that he's just nodding along and agreeing with what Hawks is saying. And then Hawks, with the natural 20. You have been following the adventures and exploits of Drizz'ting for a very long time. Everything about him has fascinated you, all of his adventures. And through that fascination, and you're digging into Drizz's history, you would have gleaned insights into Drizz's personality from stories of interactions with him from other people who he saved, and just the way that he talks just does not seem to fit with the stories that you've been told. He doesn't seem to be malicious at all, that's for sure, and he seems very, very genuinely willing to help you. But just something about him just screams that something's off. And given the fact, I will say with a nat 20, you noticed this as well. You remember that when you entered this room, there was that brief instance of something gleaning into your thoughts. And there was that brief moment where you felt that presence specifically focusing on you, reaching into your memory specifically. And you think you might know why. You think that something is inspecting the memory of Drizz'ting and acting out that way, but didn't get the full picture.
There is this distinctive Menzoberranzan accent.
Plus the fact that he is not talking with an accent from that place at all. So that's automatically I didn't even think of that. But obviously, here's the thing. I tried to describe that, but that's a way better way to put it.
How can he be so blaze about his trusty panther companion?
Yeah, he's not even being dark and brooding.
This man hasn't stared off into the distance and frowned once.
Do you mean blasé?
A little bit.
Hush you. Hush you.
Given the circumstances,
Yes, my young fan.
can I ask you a serious question here?
Anything, my friend.
So, reading minds isn't really in Drizz'ting's repertoire, if you don't mind me saying.
He freezes.
And he tends to be a lot more I'm so dark and edgy, and I escaped such horrible things. Like that.
And you idolize that, Velen will say out from the corner.
Maybe not that part, but the heroic adventures part, and they rising up to face challenges even when people think that you're, not good part. It's very admirable.
Especially since we're kobolds.
Yeah. We get a lot of that stigma too. I mean, we don't have a underground empire of cultists.
Yeah.
But
although some of them are cultists. Now that I think
mean,
about it, and a lot of them are underground. There's just no empire.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, we don't have, like, the minions of Kurtlemock chasing us the way that Grist had the minions of Lulth chasing him.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
well, I appreciate the signature. I'm kind of seeing through this now. But I mean, hey, you thought he was a cool enough guy to imitate, right? Kind of proves how awesome he is.
I
So, maybe a fellow enthusiast?
you'll hear you just see the figure, the fake figure of Drizz'ting slump his shoulders. Not many people can see through that, you know. So I want you to know, I give you full marks for that. You'll see him kind of like swipe. You'll see like him like he takes his hand and puts the palm of his hand near his face and just starts swiping down. You can see the face starts molding like clay, and you can see standing before you, the figure of Drizz'ting changes into the figure of a pale-faced man, with shaved, scraggly hair. Let me see here. Double check the description. Let's see here. And you watch as not only his face, but he puts a hand across his cloak and his armor as well, and that also begins to change. But it looks like they change separately, interestingly enough. Like there's two separate enchantments going on. As the armor changes to a very fancy-looking robe with a very high collar. And the individual looks to be a thin, middle-aged man with a sallow expression. They have like one blue and one green eye and a streak of silver in his scraggly hair. As you can see, I am not Drizz'ting. I think, at the very least, if you're not going to attack me, I can tell you what I am. I am what many of you would call a doppelganger. My name is Xeraphon.
Oh, Gesundheit.
He chuckles at that. Oh, bless me. And I'll type out his name in chat. I wasn't. Well, I did lie. I lied quite a bit, but there was some element of truth to what I said. There was, in fact, a wizard that was murdered. However, I was the one that killed him. I tried to steal his identity, and I tried to infiltrate the spire. But I failed, not knowing of the ritual at the time that was required to enter. Prison warden locked me up here and tried to develop a potion to emulate my ship-shifting ability. Of course, I was left alone here after I sensed a great explosion and the city began to drift. And before I was... There was some truth to what I said about losing memory. I truly do not know what happened and what magic it was that kept me here. But I also meant this is the truth. I mean you no harm, truthfully.
Why were you trying to get into the spire?
Oh, for many reasons, really. It was the birthplace of several powerful magics, and not to mention being in the audience of a real Arthas was a great spectacle. I could learn and perhaps hope to steal much from him in terms of knowledge, but unfortunately I failed in that regard.
Well, look at this one. If you succeeded and then been caught, it probably would have been a lot worse for you.
That is true. Hopefully, well, it is hard to say what could have been, but perhaps that might be at least somewhat of a comforting thought. So, well, in truth, I had planned to at least help you search the city, or at least explore a little bit longer. Though I confess I probably would have tried to give you the slip after that was done and gone my merry way. I value my life. I do not intend to fight a dragon with you. That gave me a bit of a pause, not going to lie.
Was
Well,
was Beatrice alive back then? She might have been a young dragon back then.
I think you would know that even like as long-lived as dragons are, Outrageous probably wouldn't have existed back then. No, I'm not familiar with the name of Beatrice, no.
Wow. That tells you how old this city is.
Yeah, and I also faltered when you. I'm pretty sure you caught me in my attempt at lying when I said I didn't remember what year it was. I'm not very good when it comes to. I truthfully do not know how long it has been.
I was just curious how long the Dark Elf had been captured. It seemed like it'd be a while, but I wasn't even thinking about
You see Valin
like
chime in.
time.
It's theorized that the fall of Yithrin was around perhaps a little more than 2,000 years ago. If not more. I get a bit sketchy on that regard. You see him kind of falter. 2,000 years? He kind of sits down back on the chair.
To the future!
Oh, he kind of puts a hand on his head. So much time lost. Perhaps new ventures gained. I do not know what this new world might bring. But hopefully it will be intriguing. With new knowledge to explore.
You might have some lost knowledge too.
Perhaps. What is it that you have found, if I might ask?
Ganook's better at that kind of stuff. Or the professor.
You see
we found one of the staves.
What'd you say?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember what we found. It was like staves? Staves?
Oh yes, you found the staff of a real Larthus himself. Along with a scroll to summon the Tarask, and a scroll to summon a giant comet to destroy many things, dealing a great deal of damage. I think I described it as 30 D10?
Yee.
Yee.
Something like that.
So of course
We're
you can
going to
choose
keep
how much you want to reveal to this guy.
Scales somehow rolls high on these kinds of things.
Oh, we found a bunch of staves from the Spire's cloakroom. Staff room.
I see. So you've been inside the spire.
Yeah, we did that ritual thing.
A couple of times.
Oh, you've already learned the arcane octet. You see, actually looks quite surprised.
We've been here about a week now.
I see. Well, I suppose you would learn a lot in whatever ruin this place must have become. As he kind of looks around again. Yes, I suppose it does explain the state of the prison that we're currently in. Why are you here, actually? Is it just...
Hiding from... Well... From a demi-lich.
You see, he actually begins to... the real office has become demi-lich?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been down here a while.
Is he after you?
More or less.
We did kind of steal some stuff from him. He's a little upset.
Oh, he kind of puts a hand on his heart and starts pacing around the room. Ah, ooh, ah.
But it is all to pick a fight with a ancient white dragon, though. So no big deal.
Because just
Uh,
doing this 4-man heart palpitations.
Fresh off killing a god.
Yeah, we did off the Winter Maiden.
Well, her avatar. It was weakened, but it counts.
you can just see him look absolutely bewildered. You see his face morph into you see it, like his face just like expands like a good like foot, like becoming bigger. Like, you did what?
It's been a bit of a weird ride. There's a reason we weren't like too completely thrown to see.
In truth, as that is impressive, but at the height of Euryalus' power, it is not unfair to say that he could perhaps rival even the avatars of the gods themselves. But if you did kill an avatar of Oril, you do have at least a sporting chance. Although, it's hard to say. Some say the path of the Demi-Lich, from what little knowledge I've gathered, can sometimes lead to perhaps even more power than that of a Lich, if in a somewhat unorthodox state of being. I truthfully could not tell you what you're up against, only that you're in for one hell of a fight if you're facing Euryalus.
Yeah.
And with that, I wish you great luck, and I have no wish to be a part of it.
That's fair.
Yeah. I do want my crossbow back though.
That is also fair. Here you go. I am sorry for the deception. He will just kind of hand you back the crossbow.
If you want, you can go outside the city, out the front. There's an area where there's an awakened penguin and a purple dryad who are waiting for us.
Not to mention, Villain will say,
Oh, right.
a simple cultist boy whose soul has been retrieved and freed by the spirit of the almighty Eldath. And she'll give you a wink, Meepo.
Yeah, he is out there. I forgot about that boy. I hope
And
he's
is our
alright.
rage beast out there too?
No, she's right here.
Mercy will kind of like bristle a little bit. I am standing here.
You just hadn't said anything. Being quiet.
She's a stealth predator apparently.
I am keeping an eye out for this Euryalus. Do not disturb my concentration. Good news, he is not here. Continue.
Good news for us. Sad news for you.
You will see her bristle again. Extremely bad news for me. Yes, with that though, well, it seems since you know the Arcane Octet, and you know of it, it seems I can't be of any help to you in that regard, and how much of the city have you explored?
Yes.
Most of the obvious places, all the spires, some of the.
I see.
There's like a hole in the ground, with a thing in it, and we avoided that after the first time.
Ah, yes,
There's also a museum with some monsters that got released some time ago. We don't know where those monsters are, and we're hoping to avoid them.
Ah, I see.
The only thing we haven't done is touch that obelisk on the other side of the city.
Ah, I
Yeah,
will
that'd be
perhaps avoid that if you can. If you have, you have the stuff, you say.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we don't want to touch it.
That is fair. Although I do.
The goal is basically to get rid of it.
I see. Well, if you're going to break the staff, just be careful. The bad things happen when you break the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Got a theory
Duly
regarding
noted.
that.
Yes, it's a shame that you did not run into me earlier in your week of traversing the city. I hope I probably could have been at least a good help in giving you a bit of knowledge about the city. But, well, I suppose I will accept my freedom as I will. Perhaps I will find a way to repay you. As he kind of starts stepping towards the door.
Fair enough.
Always good to have a friend.
A friend. He kind of like looks up towards the ceiling. After 2,000 years in sequestering stasis, only the gods know above that I could definitely use a friend. He'll give you all a nod as you all exit out the door.
Well, death be with you.
He stops, looks back, and also with you. Eldath. I think I like that. Oh, yeah. Then he starts walking away.
Yeah, she's not very well known. Sadly.
These nods that like she was before, like after his time.
So yeah, that was a bit of a debate on my part. That's why I said I was not saying anything at the last session. I was like giggling to myself. So
Played us for absolute fools.
but yeah, so 2,000 years will give you such a crook in the neck. Exactly, Scales. The villain will kind of fold their arms. So what now? We do have what we came for, but if we do wish to tempt fate and perhaps even gain an even greater advantage, we could attempt to try and lift the city by using the Mythilar, and we can attempt to either mostly try and destroy the obelisk, or make sure the obelisk cannot be activated.
Well, I say we try to destroy it, and if we can't, then I'll break the staff.
Actually, I was thinking, right? What if you know that anvil, right?
Hmm?
Yes,
What if we put the hammer of that anvil on like a really long stick?
I see.
And then, right? And then
I see where
Hawks
you're
can
going
use
with
that
this.
to smack it from a long distance.
I think that probably won't work. I was just gonna let it blow and then survive it.
Death ward, right?
Right.
Has anyone cast Identify on the Staff of Power yet?
No.
I do have that spell though, so at some point we should do that.
I mean, we're just sitting here. Why don't
We could do that right now.
Alright. Well, if you're going, are you going to cast Identify?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna cast that. I ain't doing this little something on the side. Alright, so you go ahead and cast Identify on the staff. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is a Staff of Power. It requires attunement by a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. Although I still think that, this was made at a time when artificers were not around, so I would allow an artificer to attune to this, if need be. I really feel like there should be perhaps some errata regarding some of that, but that's neither here nor there. As far as what the staff can do, the staff can be wielded as a magic quarterstaff that grants a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. While holding it, you can also look this up on D&D Beyond, by the way, so it is actually in the compendium. While holding it, you gain a +2 bonus to armor class, saving throws, and spell attack rolls. The staff has 20 charges for the following properties. The staff regains 2d8 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. If you expend the last charge, roll a d20. On a 1, the staff retains its +2 bonus to attack roll and damage rolls, but loses all of the properties. On a 20, the staff regains 1d8 plus 2 charges. It has a separate ability called Power Strike. When you hit a melee with sorry, getting ahead of myself. When you hit with a melee attack using the staff, you can expend 1 charge to deal an extra 1d6 force damage to the target. As for spells, while holding this staff, you can use an action to expend 1 or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells, using your spell save DC and spell attack bonus. Cone of Cold, 5 charges. Fireball, 5th level version, 5 charges.
Another fireball.
Another 5 fireball opportunity. Globe of Invulnerability, 6 charges. Hold Monster, 5 charges. Levitate, 2 charges. Lightning Bolt, 5th level version, 5 charges. Magic Missile, 1 charge. Ray of Enfeeblement, 1 charge, or Wall of Force, 5 charges.
We can do 2 globes of invulnerability now.
Let me see here. And it also has a Retributive Strike. So this is what happens when you break. I would also count this as, I would say with your Arcana expertise, Canuck, you would also note this is what happens when you just try and destroy the staff in general. You can use your action to break the staff over your knee or against a solid surface, performing a Retributive Strike. The staff is destroyed and releases its remaining magic, an explosion that expands to fill a 30-foot radius sphere centered on it. You have a 50% chance to instantly travel to a random plane of existence, avoiding the explosion. If you fail to avoid the effect, you take force damage equal to 16 times the number of charges in the staff. Every other creature in the area must make a DC 17 Dex saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes an amount of damage based on how far it is away from the point of origin, as shown in the following table. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage. This is why I recommend looking in the Compendium, because there's a lot to read here. It's a lot of text. A distance 10 feet away or closer from the explosion is 8 times the number of charges. 11 to 20 feet away from the explosion is 6 times the number of charges. 21 to 30 feet away is 4 times the number of charges in the staff. So it's a lot.
We can just break this over the skull's head.
Turning.
Or I could.
Yeah. So it's a 50% chance to instantly travel to a random plane of existence. That's specifically for the person breaking the staff, not the people who are in the blast radius. From what I'm reading here.
Do you have to make a save to get that 50% chance? Or...
No, that just happens. Either you transport or you don't.
So the save happens after the transport.
The save happens after the transport does or does not succeed.
Okay. Then maybe I should do that.
So, dumb question, but doesn't that all kind of imply that we could burn out the charges and then break it to make it a less dangerous thing to break?
Yes, but then it would just
still
be the
have a
50%
chance
chance, which is
Shunt it somewhere.
what is like the lowest teleportate? What is the lowest thing? Is it teleportation circle?
What,
The
for
way to get
those
between planes, or to
Plane
get
travel? I don't think that works.
plane
no.
travel?
is
You'd
like
have
7th
to
level.
use like a gate or.
It's essentially plane shift.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
To be fair, people have told you that breaking the staff is a bad idea. So like that is like
Right.
you have
Yes,
been told
we
that.
didn't know how bad it was until we got the full understanding, though. We thought breaking it with
We thought it would
death
blow
ward
up.
would be just
I mean, it
enough.
does blow up, but there's also other bad things.
Yeah.
The other bad things is what we're worried about now, so we can't just do that. But we still should try to destroy the obelisk with it.
Yeah.
Do we have any dimensional shackles?
I don't believe you do.
No.
If we could find some, then we can negate the 50% chance. And then just reduce the staff into like minimal charges, break the staff, survive it as it puffs away in some smoke. And then the teleportation method of it would just let us not be teleported because of the shackles.
Maybe.
Sounds like an idea, but we'd have to find those shackles. And
I could.
that's supposing that we find it in this city, which isn't necessarily.
Plus, the more
Guaranteed.
time that we stay here, the more likely we are to contract that arcane blight and running
Yeah.
into Eriolathis.
Well, you need the staff to activate the obelisk, right?
Right.
So if we just leave and hid the staff, near us, we could probably make some of those shackles or have them found somewhere. I'm not familiar with the. I'm not familiar with the enchantments exactly, but I could probably sort something out.
It's definitely a thought. Villain will kind of stroke her chin. It's difficult to say. I would really love to really tap into that mythala. But she kind of like holds onto the book. I've got at least a little bit to work through. This is a great find after all.
Oh, definitely. But then, ethereal lifeless is still probably attached to it, right?
That is true. I will say the dimensional shackle plan is a good idea. We don't know how long it'll take to make, or if we can even find a recipe for it as well. Or if we can at least finding some dimensional shackles.
Oh, there's always. Oh wait, hang on. You said that it like blows up in like there's like a radius, right?
I believe that's what we determined, yes.
So if the person who breaks it isn't in the radius, would they still get
I
what?
believe that's why we had the stick and the anvil idea.
Yeah.
There's also the idea, you could use your, whatchamacallit, that little gun you got there.
Oh. I don't know. Using. Oh, you mean the little, remote activation, remote manipulation gun? Yes, I could use that.
The turret, yeah.
Oh, you mean the turret? I thought you meant the mage hand gun.
Oh no, I meant the turret. Sorry. I was trying to remember what it was called.
I don't know if we could. I don't know about being able to blast a magic item. That usually doesn't work out so well. But I could theoretically use the mage hand to swing the hammer. I don't know if it would be enough force, but it might be enough.
Does it have to hit it with any force, or does it just have to hit it?
Good question.
I suppose we'll have to take another little tour. The Tower of Abjuration, then. Shall we? As you will see Villain start kind of like picking herself up and kind of like taking Professor Skent out so he can get a good view of what's going on. Do you want to head back to the tower?
What, the center tower?
No, the Tower of Abjuration specifically.
Oh, yeah, might as well.
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, let me grab Muerte's token here because she wasn't there the last time you were at that tower. Okie dokie. There we go. Doop, 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 doop. Little bit of travel here, little bit of travel there. I believe Hawks would be. Actually, no. He'd probably become big at a certain amount of time after leaving the prison. And lose the enlarge that he had to stay in there. I think. Does that sound right? I will take. Yep, there we go. That's what I thought.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Using Hawks' height, he does manage to like let you guys into the tower by crawling off of his body to the topmost part of the tower, and there you see the anvil still there, right in its place.
How heavy is the hammer seem?
It looks like a pretty solid hammer. probably more. Well, hang on. Let me double check. So it is made out of metal. I'm gonna look up something real quick just on the side. How much weight does the
I believe it's 5 pounds.
5 pounds?
It is 10 pounds.
Ah,
10 pounds. Okay.
Yes. So Sith.
how heavy.
10 pounds. All right. So, surprisingly, the hand actually can pick up the hammer.
Interesting. We could maybe do something with that then. Hmm. Huh.
I will say though, as the mage hand picks up the hammer, you actually hear a voice inside your head, Skanuk.
Hello again.
Bring me your items of. Oh, hello, it's you. Hello again. How are you?
Doing good.
That's good.
Kind of
That's good.
how have you been?
Oh, you know, hanging around on an anvil.
Makes sense.
It's very boring
sense.
here, just so you know.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
Do you have any magical items for me to destroy?
Potentially.
Ah, yes, yes. I mean, very good.
What are your opinion? What are your feelings on staves of power?
Ah, a delightful challenge. I will suffer no consequence from such an erasure of power. However, I would suggest and urge caution towards you.
Yeah, we were thinking about expending all the charges in it before we detonated it,
Ah,
so
well,
it doesn't.
it is funny, actually. I can, in fact, destroy the Staff of Power. It is within my purview and ability. So, I will say, if you wanted to use the hammer, I would suggest your friend not be in its blast radius.
All right,
We can
but
hover
huh?
from back a ways, I guess.
Yep, that's always an option. Out of curiosity, I don't suppose you being an expert in destroying magical items, do you know if someone who was outside of the if the wielder, if the person destroying it was outside of the radius, would they be sent away to another plane? Would there be that chance?
Hmm. 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 Maybe. In fact, such a thing is difficult to fathom because usually to break such staff of power, one must break it themselves. But, in theory, yes, actually. Of course, you would have to find a way to break it without breaking it yourself.
Like you?
Well, usually one must wield me to break things.
Now comes second part. How do you feel about the spell Mage Hand? Oof.
Disgusting.
Oh no.
I find it plausible but unpalatable.
I see.
Ah,
Well. All right. Well, see if we can't think of a alternative then.
Please, please do so. To destroy a magical item using my power, it is a form of partnership between me and the hammer of the being who wields me. To use me in such a way is a mockery of my creation.
Right.
But I must admit it is still possible.
Okay. I suppose I suppose a very long stick would probably be similarly concerning.
Is passe, but not disgusting. It's tolerable. Go ahead, Caleb, sorry.
What if we were to drop the hammer from a height above the anvil on top of the thing?
You mean toss me?
Not toss. Expertly drop. Back to its resting place.
You hear the hammer mutter, just mutter gibberish, angry gibberish in your head. It's gonna.
All I can think of is from the top rope. Okay. Let's see about it.
Truthfully, I can do nothing. If whatever your plans are, I am simply a tool to be wielded. Do what you must.
Well, we'll try to do this in the least dangerous and least offensive way.
Very
Possible,
picker
I
for a
suppose.
hammer, isn't it? What? I'm just saying. So what's the idea then? Villain will say.
Thinking that we need to construct some sort of stick.
Maybe like a stick with an elbow, so it's kind of like still an arm. Like it drops the hammer.
Or just like put a mitten on the end, like a snowman.
No, I mean like a stick that like bends, so that we can like hit a button or move a lever and it bends the stick down.
Oh, that's much more interesting than I was thinking.
Then it's kind of like you're still hammering with it.
True. I was just going to like I was just going to like extend the handle a bunch, but this is grand. All right.
Do we have
I've got
anything
not
like
thinking
that?
of pulleys.
That's something Skanuk would be in charge of, I would imagine.
Skanucky's just already just lost in his own little world. He's got his notebook out. He's like sketching pulley systems.
Go ahead and make just make a general intelligence check for me, Skanuk, and add your proficiency bonus.
A Arcana then?
Yeah, sure, Arcana.
It's intelligence. It's intelligence engineering, whatever.
Yeah,
but
It's kind of yeah.
That's the score.
Okay, soft 20.
I don't think
What
I
items
did.
do you have in your inventory, Skanuk?
I have.
We have stuff from
Rope?
that ship, don't we?
This is true. Let's see. I've got lots of rope. I've got wheels. Oh wait, no, maybe I don't. I probably don't have this technology. Just this.
You're definitely not in Plane G either. I mean, what?
What? Oh no, not like this.
Oh.
It's gonna put hate being in Plain Gia. He would hate it so much.
Oh gosh, it's a modern artificer's worst nightmare. You have to really
Yep.
downgrade your tech.
He's got a bunch of like just
Make
armor
wings.
chunks,
There's no metal. What?
armor bits,
Okay.
scraps. Let's see.
Now I'll take a look at your inventory.
I want to change this now. Don't. It's awful in here. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, that just makes it better to observe. Also, my screen froze a little bit. There we go.
I have a lot of rations. Where did those go? Let's see. Crowbar, hammer, various tools that he can just make with the effects.
Yeah. Pause for a second. I'm just looking. Let's see. Backpack things. Water skin. Okay. So you've got a lot of rope. So you think to yourself, okay, if you are thinking of a pulley system, you can use some of the pythons and some of the scrap metal to hammer out makeshift rudimentary wheels or gears that could function as a pulley system. It would be very, very rudimentary, very, very basic, and probably prone to breaking, but it could work theoretically. Let me see. You got shield. Let's see. Yeah, if you make something like akin to a pulley system, you could theoretically attach the hammer to this, like, whatever, like a little end of the pulley, and just have it like drop onto the hammer. It's possible,
I feel like,
but you know, there's a chance of it breaking.
yeah. Let's
Well,
see
we
if we
only
can.
need it for this one thing, and then he can protect it later.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, let's try to put that there. Let's see. We probably do need some sort of like stick to be swinging. See if we can't arrange that. But yes,
I'll
we
say
do.
I'll say the crowbar is flexible enough to, like, if it's like
Ooh.
attached to the end, like if you like attach that, I'd say the crowbar could
Mhm.
kind of work with that regard.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And now, so that's not done, obviously, but it's like something we can do.
Yeah, so I will say you've got the materials to make this work. I will say if you could make it yourself, but it would probably take the help of the people around you. So we could make this a group skill check,
Ooh.
using, of course, I will say we'll just go with Arcana because you have proficiency in its intelligence check as the base,
Right.
and then other people can use either their strength or dexterity to, like, lift the heavy pieces or nimbly, work on, like, the finer pieces of the system.
Fair enough. That all sounds very good.
All right.
Good.
Yep. So either dexterity or strength for the people who are helping Skinnuck, and then Skinnuck can make an Arcana check. I'll roll for Vilden here.
I can do
Well,
strength, considering that I'll have advantage on it for being big, and also have
Exactly.
a +6.
Oh,
Oh, that was not a very good roll for advantage and a +6.
Yeah,
sorry with you, I
Vilden
have.
didn't do too good either. But let's see what Merte can do.
Part of you, I have crafted my own custom skill.
Hey, engineering. There you go. Okay. With that, let's see. 20, 21, 22. Are you gonna help it all with this as well, Scales? Or you're just gonna observe? Scales?
Sorry, my button wasn't working.
Might as well emboldening bond. This seems important.
Alright, so go up. Alright, yep.
Are these saving throws or checks?
These are checks, so in dexterity or strength, your choice.
And you can use emboldening bond.
Okay, so you can add d4 to it if you wish. Ooh, wow, there's some very good rolls here overall.
And I might as well. Do I want to? I might as well use it. I'm gonna use bless. Oh no, I don't have it prepared. Sad. Anyway,
Do I get the emboldening bond as well?
you do.
Oh,
Everybody
look
who
at
is a
this.
kobold gets emboldening bond.
Look at that. Oh, I'm level 20. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah, I will say,
Wow, that's very emboldened.
extremely emboldened. So yeah, with all those
You're all
checks,
very
I will
bold.
say it doesn't even take you an hour. Using entirely
kobold.
kobold ingenuity. The same ingenuity which helped build Hawks' leg, helps to build this strangely intricate pulley system using nothing more than a box of scraps in a cave. You're basically Tony Starking it, Skinnuck. This whole pulley system, and it's actually you take a step back. You kind of clap your hands a little bit. You kind of like look at it. This magnificent work of chaos that you've made, and you'll see. Look at you. Look at the pulley system. You know, I'm starting to think that going back to the Arcane Brotherhood is perhaps a wasted effort. Perhaps you should instead of pursuing Arcane, you should perhaps in study whatever this is. You perhaps perhaps I could wager. Should we go into business together after all this is said and done? Start our own thing.
Well, I was planning to try and rig up a flying tower, city, and/or fortress, depending on what I could swing. So yes.
Excellent. Do you have? I got to say, like usually such an enterprise has a name. Do you have a name already in mind if you were to go into business?
Knuckworks.
Skinnockworks. Very, very nice. Very nice. Very, very eponymous.
And
I
they fun.
And fun.
The first thing you should include in your catalog is that trench coat, though, because that really started us off.
It really did. It's that good old trench coat.
That's with all said and done, though. The pulley system, without even taking more than an hour, probably around maybe like 45 minutes or so, it's complete. It's ready to be tested, and or executed, as it were.
Shall we move out?
You will
Oh my-
see
well-
you'll see Villain is like, oh, we're doing it now. And she will just start like moving. It's like,
I mean, there's temptation to attune to it and play around with firing off all the charges, but I feel like there's an element towards that's asking for trouble. Skull-shaped trouble.
I would agree. And honestly, with how much that Veneranda character wanted the staff, I think this might be the smarter choice. Although, we could have perhaps used it against a real Larthus in a fight, but this is probably safer.
Oh, that is tempting.
I think we should be okay if we have to fight him anyway.
Well. Oh. Wait.
As long as
I just had a weird, silly thought.
Oh? What's your silly thought? Lay it on me.
Like, does the staff have that a lot of items have that feature where if they lose their last charge, there's a chance of them just dying.
Oh, good point. I actually don't think this is the case for this one. I think... Let me see.
Okay.
Let me double check, though. Let me see.
I just thought I might have completely spaced on a method to do this.
No. So staff is 20 charges. Staff... Okay, so it loses all of the properties, but it loses it still has the +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls. I would still say it does the explosion thing, though.
Okay, so it only loses the cool spellcasting and not the dangerous detonating. Okay, fair enough. Well,
actually, hang on. I need to. The wording is very important here. Staff retains. It says it loses all other properties.
Let me check if there's like an errata or something on that. That's something that you'd think they would notice.
Honestly, though, I'm re-looking at the wording. By that definition, actually, no. Now I'm looking at it, it might actually get rid of that explosion thing. Now I'm looking at it.
oh,
Yeah, because it says loses all of the properties, and technically the Retributive Strike is a property.
well, don't I feel silly?
I mean, to be fair, Skanok, if for some reason we were caught with our pants down near the obelisk, perhaps it's better that it was destroyed.
True. There's always a chance that someone could steal it from us or take it from us. Fair enough. Besides, we already built the thing.
True, it would be a shame to let it go to waste.
It is really nice.
Behold my creation.
What do you call it?
I shall call it. The Grand Hammer Flinger.
Inspired. Villain will just give a slow golf clap. She's not trying to be rude. She's like slightly impressed because she still appreciates the construction, but the name she's kind of like kind of nodding along like yeah. All right.
Skinnock is not good at names. It's not something he's good at.
All right, so you guys have the pulley system has like a little rope that you can kind of pull up and down like you would like a bell, like a grand cathedral bell. So here's what I have you do. I'm going to have you make 3 checks here. However, because of the great grand construction, these will have advantage. So go ahead and give me an Arcana check 3 times.
All right.
With emboldening bond included.
Ooh. The emboldening bond. Did you say advantage or like?
I
this
said
is
advantage.
3 times?
Advantage 3 times.
All right.
Yep. That about does it right. You are so in tune with your creation. It's a wonder that it's not an extension of your own body. You I will say you still technically have a connection with the hammer because of the grand construction and magic and engineering imbued within this creation of yours. That you can hear you can hear the hammer sounding slightly disgusted, but also somewhat impressed at the same time. Like it's a weird mix of emotions that you can't quite fully comprehend. As the hammer's like, "Oh, this is terrible. Oh, but that finish though. Oh, it looks ugly, but it's practical and it works quite well. Oh, as you like clang. And on the third final clang, you will.
It's actually quite comfortable.
Yeah, no, it's actually quite fitting actually. Oh, is that the third and final swing? You will hear a tremendous. And you'll see the entire kind of tower kind of like bend inward slightly and then fluxes back out to its normal position. Let me double check. Double check here. So let's see.
Gunnock is watching the goggles down, waiting for an explosion.
Yes, so the staff had all of its charges.
Just. I got it.
A really big explosion.
Staff has 20 charges, so 20 times.
Are we gonna knock another tower down?
You watch as the roof looks fine. And suddenly, the top roof just explodes. Like it just like it's like someone like punched it from the inside, and now all like the little blocks and bricks are like just going like getting like ragdolled everywhere like Gmod, just like and the entire top of the tower is gone.
Oh, you all right in there?
There's no sound.
Let's kind of like check in. Is he gone? Should we have?
Hold on. I'm rolling something. Clang! As you get to the top of the tower, you suddenly see the hammer just make a loud, voluminous thud right next to the anvil. And then the handle clicks to the side. It sizzles slightly.
Have fun?
There are no words.
I want to grab it before you can talk to it again, I think.
Alright, you grab it.
But I'd wait for it to cool down first.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sure, absolutely. You see, it's glowing a bright blue color, and then slowly it kind of like starts to fade away, and then you kind of grab it as it's like cooling off a little bit. It's still like a little sizzly, but you're like ooh. It's like holding a hot potato. But you hear in your head a voice, a very tired, strained voice. I hate all of you, but it was so cool. And then the voice just kind of goes quiet.
Yeah, that's about how people feel about us, I think. Most of the time. Owen is a weird exception.
I think she started off that way.
Velen will just
Yeah,
kind of fold
kinda.
her arms.
The general impression is, oh god, that was amazing, but keep it the hell away from me.
I mean, to be fair, I have gotten used to it. It's difficult. It's difficult to begin with, but as long as I'm not on your bad side, I feel safe. If anything, I feel protected.
It's true.
That's my job.
As long as I'm not in the line of fire.
That's his job.
Exactly. And honestly, with a giant hawks at my side, I actually feel quite snug.
I'm glad to be a comfort.
You're very welcome. Well, that was one threat out of the way, and quite frankly, I think we don't need to be concerned about the obelisk hurting anyone anymore.
The obelisk is what was causing the blight, right?
I believe that's what we learned, yes.
Do you think it'll stop because of that?
Because of what?
Destroying the power? Or the staff of power?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't think it'll stop, but we did kind of determine that at least it wasn't spreading or getting worse.
Wait a minute. So we had a chance to destroy the obelisk, and we destroyed the way that we could destroy the obelisk?
In retrospect, yes, that is a problem.
Ah.
I think our
Right.
understanding of destroying the obelisk was that we didn't know what would happen if we did.
But this blight's gonna stick around as long as the obelisk sticks around, right?
Well, it
Presumably,
wasn't an
yes.
option, but Hawks is right. We didn't know if it was the only way to do it. Plus,
It's like we've destroyed the only way of activating the obelisk, but we could, I feel like figuring out a way to blow something up is easier than figuring out a way to properly activate and interact with something.
that is true.
I
You
just
know.
don't feel safe having that blight around.
Oh, absolutely. Because what we could do, right? What are anti-magic fields? How hard are those to make?
Oh, it's quite difficult.
And
Unless-
keeping them is even harder.
Unless she looks at Hawks. There is something that can disrupt magic. That we know exists in the city.
Is there?
The spindle.
True. It'd be using it in a way that doesn't cause global catastrophe.
Right, but that's true. But still, if we're looking for something that disrupt magic, and if the obelisk is magical, well, what is a non-magical obelisk if not just a tower to be cracked? She looks at you, Hawks.
Where this is going.
Oh, in
We
weird
move the
places, but
spindle
I'm
down there. We crack the tower, and then do something with the spindle to get rid of it? Or do we need to do that? I don't even know what the spindle does. I get confused by all this arcane stuff.
To be fair, there is a lot going on, but remember, the spindle is what caused Yithrin's fall, because it sucked out all the magic in the city's vicinity, essentially.
Okay, so maybe destroying the tower will also destroy the spindle with it?
No, they're completely separate objects.
Right, but I mean, if we're using the spindle, connecting it to the tower somehow, and disrupting its magic.
Oh, I see. So yes, you're confirming what I had theorized. We could possibly use the spindle's anti-magical properties to disrupt the obelisk. Although,
Right.
keep in mind, if we did rely on the spindle, for though we are a quite heavily casting party, and I think only Hawks is the one that relies on pure brute strength. Oh, as Werte as well. That is correct.
So, we take care of the Demi-Lich, and then we take care of the obelisk?
That sounds about right to me.
Everybody up for that?
Sure,
I'm up
let's
for
do
a
it.
rest first.
Oh, definitely.
That sounds like a good plan.
Right, we did sort of expend a good chunk of our resources fighting those Magian and the flesh golems.
I
Right.
propose a strategy.
Tell me.
If we're going to fight the Demi-Lich, I kind of feel that doing so in his own sanctum would be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance? Is there any chance that we could cause a spectacle somewhere in the city that we've prearranged, basically, made sure is good for a fight.
I have a good idea. There's a
Wha-
place where there's like an arena. That seems like it would be really fun to have a little bit of a spectacle going on there, along with watching you guys do your stuff. It's a wide open area. We probably wouldn't destroy too much.
It's an option. A lot of
That's-
room to maneuver around giant AoEs.
Mm-hmm. And giant hawks.
True, true.
Yes.
Open air.
I could see that, yes. But how would we get him to arrive?
I would just make a spectacle like they were saying. And I know someone who specializes in spectacle. I look at it.
Look at Scales
Actually,
and Skanuk.
now that I think about it, this was pretty much the definition of a spectacle, so we should probably move on from here.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, let's make ourselves scarce.
That's great.
Yeah. We just made ourselves a beacon, really.
Really, this is just a breadcrumb on the trail.
He's probably
Gigantic
already on his way.
flaming breadcrumb.
Or the heel of the loaf, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Alright, so, you guys... I will say, are you going to head to the Colosseum, or is there like a different place you want to hide out?
That was my thought. If we head to the Colosseum, we can start setting up whatever spectacle we wanted and getting rest there.
That's an option. Yeah. Let's try it out. Let's do that. As long as we do take the rest before we call down the thunder.
Call down the thunder. Get ready for a boo! Sorry, I had to reference Grinch.
Yep.
It's classic. Gaze into the face of
Uh,
fear.
A wonderful movie,
It's a wonderful movie.
full of
What
wonder.
movie is that?
Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Oh, right.
Well, Jim Carrey. Well, it's not Jim Carrey's The Grinch, but it's famous because he is the Grinch in the movie.
Right. His rendition of the Grinch.
Exactly. Ah, man. All right, so you all will head to the Colosseum, the Lightning Stadium. Let me get Mortain on this action. Let me change the camera. Yeah, it's a very long arena. Courtesy of Tessa Moorcraft on DM's Guild.
Ooh.
Shall we set up some huts?
Tiny huts.
It's really not that small of a hut, honestly. 10-foot radius. It's a respectable hut.
That's pretty decent.
It's not like, Java, but it's a respectable hut.
Well, I wouldn't say Jabba's that respectable, but okay.
For a
By
hut,
hut
he was.
standards.
Yeah, by
I
hut standards, he
suppose that's
absolutely was.
Yeah, he was like the hut to be.
That's true. Anyway,
I really wish they did more with the huts. I like them conceptually.
I think
They're
they'll
fun.
probably do that in the long run, because they're gonna want to make money on things, and they might as well make things that people recognize more.
I know there were supposedly huts in the Book of Boba Fett, but I didn't watch it, so. Anywho.
Yeah, anywho.
That's neither here nor there. Neither fish nor fat. No. Flesh nor fowl nor a good red herring.
Indeed. So, you make it back to the Lightning Arena. The good old game of Chain Lightning, which you have already won. You still have the trophy that you won.
Feels good.
Feels good, man. Feels good.
We are the champions. Starts playing.
You definitely are.
Champions. God, so much pain. Oh, dear.
And we'll keep on fighting till the end.
Dum dum dum.
All right, but so is there any? So what sort of preparations are you setting? So obviously you have huts in mind. Anything else?
Well, okay, so we need some way of calling him here.
Mm-hmm.
Some way of calling him out. And then we need, ideally,
Well,
like,
I was gonna say, I have enough room to use Call Lightning and just make a bunch of lightning strikes here. That would get his attention.
that's that is fun and
Huh?
could be
And
useful.
That would definitely
and
work.
once we're in combat, I'd rather be smacking with my weapon than using Call Lightning. So using it as a giant beacon is not really out of the question.
Excellent,
That's
excellent.
actually a really cool idea for usage of that. I like that.
Okay. What do I have that's good to like set stuff up? Do I have?
And if you want to set traps, I'm proficient in Smith's tools, so I can like help on any checks that you do
Yeah,
theoretically.
I'm not sure how many traps like I really have. I'm gonna look something up. I'll be so upset if artificers don't get glyph rewarded. The sheer.
Yeah. So this is the planning phase.
Yeah.
So feel free to just like just look up stuff. So this will
Um,
be a bit of a calm
Yeah.
moment for the stream.
can
Because
we
like
like
yeah,
make a place where I can create water
yeah,
and
we could.
then make a place, or and then I'll create water there, and then we can use that with control water.
Um,
Alternatively,
it's just-
I could just hallow this area.
Ooh,
I believe I have
would
the materials.
would he come into a hallowed area? It's tempting. It's tempting.
We would need 24 hours to do that, though, right?
You would, yes. That is a lot of time and a lot of chances for him to show up.
That's true.
So basically, I will say this. Because you've spent a good amount of time in this city, usually generally around an hour of travel, there's a chance of running into something, essentially. So that's roughly 24 chances to run into Rio Larthus. And him to catch you in the
Okay.
middle of what you're doing.
Then that's probably
Right.
not a good idea, because there's a high chance of that.
Right.
A good idea, and still doable, but it is the risk that you run.
Yeah.
And if other things happen in the meantime, I would still be useless because I'd be doing that, and you guys would have to do it without me.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's always there's a kind of like cheesy thing we do by just casting tiny hut repeatedly, and you cast and us like casting spells inside the tiny hut.
Make a cheese.
Yeah, we could.
But then, like, if we hallow the area, he can't enter it, right?
Here, I'll put up Hallow so you can read what it does. It's a big thing. You touch a point and infuse an area around it with holy or unholy power, holy in my case. The area can have a radius of up to 60 feet, and the spell fails if the radius includes an area already under the effect of a Hallow spell. The affected area is subject to the following effects. First, Celestials, Elemental, Fey, Fiends, and Undead can't enter the area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it. Any creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area. You can exclude one or more of those types of creatures from this effect, so I could exclude Undead. Second, you can bind an extra effect onto the area, choosing the effect from the following list. Choose an effect offered by the GM. Some of these effects apply to creatures in the area. You can designate whether the effect applies to all creatures, creatures that follow a specific deity or leader, or creatures of a specific sort, such as orcs or trolls. When a creature that would be affected enters the spell's area for the first time, on a turn or starts its turn there, it can make a charisma saving throw. On success, the creature ignores the area's effect until it leaves the area. And options are, I'm going to just read the option name. Courage, darkness, daylight, energy protection, energy vulnerability, everlasting rest, and extra dimensional interference, and fear, and silence, and tongues.
So they can't enter the area. You can also choose a couple other interesting effects from that.
That's
You could
kind of like
exclude undead so that he could come in
Right.
and leave aberration so that he can't bring any Nothics with him.
Right.
And then the other effects you could still apply to him.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if it works like that, that's just yeah. If it works like that, then that sounds absolutely great.
But the problem is that it would take that time. And we'd also have to take a long rest before I could do it anyway. So it would be more than 24 hours. It'd be like 32
It
hours.
is a chance. So I love this moment, the planning phase. I love moments like these.
Okay. Well, we could do. How many? Tiny Head is a third level spell, right?
Correct.
Scales has it. How many third level spell slots do you have? Scales?
I can ritually cast it.
So we could just do that as many times as we need to.
Keep in mind, you can only have one hut up at a time.
Yeah, but that means like a 10-minute window for things to go wrong.
Except Valen can cast it too, so
That's right. She could technically have 3.
Yeah.
So those 10-minute windows, she could have it set
So
up.
that's if we're trying to be really like try hardy about this.
Are we?
Let's,
Hmm.
I don't know.
if I were to like, well, say like, so ritual casting tiny hut. If I wait for 7 hours and 49 minutes to start ritual casting tiny hut, we'd only have a 1-minute window where we're not under tiny hut, right?
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. Ooh. It feels weird, man.
And in a pinch, I could just action cast it and have it up right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially because it lasts long enough to take a long rest, so it's not like there's... And we'd be doing this for 24 hours anyway.
Can't action cast it, it's a minute, but whatever.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I'm struggling for any sort of, like, actual trap spells that would fall in the Artificer's wheelhouse. For some reason, there are none.
Right?
I mean, we could do like manually set up traps, but considering that this is like an enemy that floats,
Yeah.
tripwires and stuff aren't really going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I wonder though. These spires, they're conductive to lightning, yes?
That's an interesting idea. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, the thing what they did was like if you got the ball through the hoop, it gave it lightning damage, right?
Indeed.
Right,
I
yeah.
was also thinking about using silence to keep him from using spells on us, because I'm sure a skull doesn't have very many somatic components, so
That's very fun. If you did that and then Hawks grappled him again, that might be dangerous, actually.
we just have to consider people inside that area wouldn't be able to do spells also, and
Yeah.
that you couldn't really use thunder damage on him in that case.
True, and Shatter is one of our better spells.
Is the lightning ball for the game still here?
No, so that appears when the game is activated. However, the tridents that are in the that you can see right here, the tines, they still are emitting that low hum. So you gather that they're still conductive.
Do we remember how to activate the game?
Uh,
It was when the correct number of players stepped on the field.
Yeah. How big are these tridents?
let me double check that. Actually, it's been a while since I've looked. Let's see here. So they are actually 100 feet tall.
Oh, okay. They're bigger than I thought.
The thing is, though, like even like throwing something like that far, like it's weird. Like throwing stuff like actually like travels a bit farther than usual here. So like throwing stuff like through the hoops is actually not as big of a deal as you might think.
I mean, part of me was looking at their size on the map and being like, okay, I wonder if, like, if I casted Reduce on them and Hawks had an Enlarge go.
I mean, that's
No,
possible.
I
You could
see.
knock it down to 50 feet.
Use them as
A trident.
electric tridents, like weapons.
Hmm.
I will say, you also know upon activating the game, there was a barrier put around the field.
Interesting.
But then we get all teleported around, and a bunch of idiot ball players show up. And
There is that.
I don't know that we really want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what we could do with these. If we could somehow get a bunch of chains, we could maybe rig up some sort of thing where there's a bunch of electrified chains around, but then we'd have to find a way of hitting him with them.
We just push him into them.
That could definitely work. Can you cast catapult on a floating skull? Probably not. Probably counts
Probably,
as
it's a
Other
creature
objects.
you most likely would
Yeah.
not be able to. Fun idea,
Object.
but no.
but it's fun.
Fun idea.
I'll maintain that it's fun.
Oh, it's fun.
I guess, like,
Hawks can cast basketball on it
true.
and just dunk it into like a basket made of electrified chains.
True. I could try to, like, pull some shenanigans with, like, crossbow bolts, I guess. Like, catapult? How much damage would that actually do? Not more than firebolt. Almost certainly not more than firebolt. It's definitely worth considering, like, being able to smash him into it. I think.
It's like it's just like something to consider when we're in battle.
Yeah. Maybe some sort of, like, nets that could, like, tie him to it somehow? I don't know. There's not, like, spells for sticking stuff. I guess web's probably not conductive, though.
No, but it's flammable.
But it is flammable.
He's made of fire.
I have so much. We could. Yeah, there's not really a spell for six
Speaking of, he's made of fire. Firebolt might not be very helpful anyway.
We could wing it.
Yeah, I feel like our options for setting things up ahead of time might be suspiciously limited, which I do feel is partly my fault for not.
It's no one's fault. It's just the game. It's just the game. It's just how it is.
Do we want... The big question is, do we want to hallow or not?
I would think so.
You don't think so?
I would think so. Yes.
You would think so. Okay.
I agree.
If we're fighting a even a normal lich, I think is a bit of a dicey fight.
Okay.
The thing is, a
Personally-
normal lich would have enough common sense to avoid a hallowed area. Here we actually have a chance to take advantage of it,
Yep.
potentially.
Yeah.
So,
Is he-
why not take advantage of it?
Do we know if he's actually resistant to fire or not?
We
Or
don't know.
immune
We can assume.
would be the big worry.
You
can
don't think
firebolt
he would be
to-
resistant to fire necessarily? Let me double check some stuff.
I guess as long as he's not immune, I would be doing full damage. I think Scales has a lot of other damaging options.
You don't think he would be immune to fire?
So if you can make him vulnerable to fire,
Well, the issue there is if he can't even enter the hallowed area, would it even matter if we could make him vulnerable to fire or not?
well, that's the thing. We were talking about being able to forbid aberrations, but allow undead, so he'd be able to enter, but then he would be under other effects. Is I think how we thought that would work. I don't know if that's actually how it.
Yes.
But it says first, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead cannot enter the area.
You can exclude one or more of those types of creatures from this effect. Is right after where it says any
Oh,
creature
okay,
charmed
I see
by
that.
or possessed.
So
Yes.
the wording is
Yeah.
specifically this effect, as opposed to the secondary effect, which I find
Right.
very interesting, and I have not seen that before.
It is intended to be able to use as traps or wards to keep things in or out.
Which
or
I
whatever.
actually like that flexibility. I thought it was a bit more inflexible than that, which actually I kind of appreciate for this spell.
It's super expensive, so you'd think they would make it worth doing. It takes so much
You'd
time to
think.
cast, so expensive to cast. It's just like, why would I cast this spell unless it was worthwhile? And with that, it becomes pretty worthwhile.
Alright, so
For
in
the-
that case, do you guys want to risk the Hallow then?
Yes.
I
I
think
absolutely
so.
think we
I
should
think-
make him vulnerable to fire.
Yeah.
Just for the meat.
For the memes.
Like,
The
are there
memes!
other?
Is there
Are there
any other
other?
type of damage that we do more often that
Yeah.
Force.
Thunder
Force.
I
maybe,
do
but-
a lot of force damage.
and force.
The
psychic?
the thing is, I think with things like Steel Wind Strike, we do a lot of force damage if we're hitting a bunch of opponents. I think over the course of a fight between both you and Scanuck, we'd be firebolting and using things like that more often, right?
Right.
Against
We also
a
have
single target.
your
Yeah.
slashing and the slashing from Muerte.
But we can't do bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing.
Yeah. Which is a
Oh,
shame. Where I would
that's
say,
not there. Okay.
if we could, I would absolutely say bludgeoning, and then have Scales doing the rock throw as the giant monkey,
Oh,
giant ape,
yeah, you're right.
because that is a terrifying attack. But it's not really.
So, fire psychic also could work because he does know his name.
Peru. What is that spell? What does Rolfins
Psychic
do?
glance.
Do we know if he would have any magic resistance where he could succeed on saving throws better and take half damage?
What does
Where if
our
I would
hit him,
agree.
it just deals full damage?
necromancer know about that?
I would say Valin definitely has a shot at knowing that, so let me get her a roll on that.
Out of character, I would be astounded if he didn't have legendary resistances at least.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
he
no,
does.
Okay, she has okay, she's pretty good. I would say she would definitely know some things about demi-liches, but let me see here. Let me actually... She rolled pretty well. She rolled a 12 plus her Arcana check, which is actually a decent bonus. So let me double check here. Because I have this token, which I can use to help me here. Excuse me. So, as far as magic resistances are concerned, the Demi-Lich, just surprisingly, she tells you that she doesn't know if it has any spell resistance, but she does know that because of the size of the Demi-Lich, it does have a special sort of avoidance for harmful effects. kind of like, instead of like being resistant to magic in general, it seems to be resistant to being affected by things, just by its resilient nature. Yeah, the Artful Dodger. So, I will give you this. I will say that you could know that it has the avoidance ability. If it's subjected to an effect that allows it to make a saving throw to take only half damage, and instead takes no damage if it succeeds and only half of it fails. I would also let you know that it has resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from magical weapons, but immune to necrotic, poison, psychic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. So it's resistant to even magic weapons, and that's all I can give you with that.
So,
Does Hallow override any of this?
yeah, that's an interesting question.
So, Hallow specifically, let me see here. It gives you energy vulnerability, have vulnerability. So if it has vulnerability, if it is, like, say, resistant, it would instead be normal. If it's immune, it's not, if it's immune...
It says it makes it vulnerable, though, doesn't it?
Right, but,
I would think that the spell would just switch it from whatever it is to vulnerable. Which
Because
is why
didn't
I
that
looked
come
at
up
the
in
void.
our one shot against Orcus, where he changed one of our resistances from necrotic straight to vulnerable to necrotic damage?
you know what? I think that did come up somewhere. You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, I guess in that sense it would have a vulnerability.
It's a powerful
This
spell. It takes 24 hours to cast.
it's except for bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. It's weird that it calls out bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. I guess it's because it's the most common damage types. But still, that means it could make very vulnerable to psychic damage then, or for poison or
It is
necrotic, and have
energy
that reversed.
ability.
I mean, I feel like the mundane damage types, if you did that and paired it up with a fighter using whatever the second
Attacks.
action one is, and
Like
suddenly
super
they're
attack.
throwing up. Yeah.
Like
I
a
mean, like,
samurai going whack, 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 whack.
yeah, just go full
Like,
weed whacker. That would
Yeah.
be a bit much, probably.
I don't know. I would say I don't know. I don't know if it would override the immunity.
I'm
'Cause,
going
like,
to look. I'm going to look at what people are saying about that.
Like
just
a resistance, absolutely. I could see that doing it. The immunity is a bit harder to rule, though. I'm a bit. I don't know. I feel like the spell should do something, but I'm also conflicted on how to rule it. Sorry for the hang up.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's why we're asking before the fight.
No, this
Yeah,
is the perfect time to do so.
Resistance and vulnerability can coexist, so a creature affected by both would take normal advantage or normal damage.
Okay, so I see this. They both apply almost one time. So on page 197 of Player's Handbook, it states bold added. Resistance and then vulnerability are applied after all other modifiers to damage. This means that you would apply resistance and then vulnerability to damage in that order. This often means you would take the normal amount of damage.
Oh.
Let's see. As far as immunity goes, vulnerability and resistance both apply to enemies who also have immunity, but to no particular effect. After having or doubling 0, it will still result in 0.
Ooh.
So immunity will be unaffected, but resistance, still there.
Okay. So what were the things that we learned he was resistant to?
Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from magic weapons.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't matter. And then what's he immune to so we can avoid those? 'cause
Immune
it
to
won't-
necrotic, poison, psychic, and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks.
Right. So, if I do fire, we could make the guy that's head's on fire rue the day.
It's not even really fire per se. It's more like the semblance of fire that
Yeah.
looks like arcane runes. So it's not really fire, but it looks like
Yeah.
fire.
It's fancy. It's a special thing.
Yeah, so he just
also
looks
do
cool.
lightning.
They're not
which,
like the flaming
Fox
skull.
does.
That's like a CR what? 8 creature.
I think they're actually like CR3 or 4.
All those fireballs say otherwise.
They're entirely too low to be casting fireball. That's what I feel. Regardless of what their CR is.
That being said,
CR4.
options I think are strong for this Hallow to use would be fire, lightning.
Well, if we're gonna hit him with silence, thunder isn't a great idea.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I consider not using silence, but I just really want it to be useful here.
And I mean, if he casts, you know, if he casts any sort of spell that requires a verbal component, then that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Does he even cast spells? Let's just
I
cast
would
spells.
assume
Sure.
I would say Valen would at least be able to tell you. This is something I suppose you would have learned from. Actually, you would have learned it from Veneranda. Actually, a Demi-Lich would lose most of their spell casting per se, but they gain other abilities in response.
Ah,
So
what
they're not
kind of
really
abilities?
mostly spellcasters per se. They're mostly just ability users with very bad effects.
Well, then
What-
maybe I shouldn't do silence.
What kind of abilities?
Well, I actually, you know what? Actually, I will say silence can still be useful here, because you know, and Veneranda would have told you, of the howl ability, of which
Oh, right.
its very
Yep.
howl can cause creatures to perish. So the silence can still be useful here. I'd say Veneranda would have told you that.
Right.
And you would have actually heard that scream emitting as you stole out
Oh,
of the
is that
tower.
what that was?
That's what that was.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So you actually would have heard that.
Right.
You've been out of range of it, but you would have felt your very bodies convulsing at the very sound of it. So you would actually have personal experience, like what could have happened if you were too close.
Right. Good.
Okay.
Good stuff. That being said, during the long rest,
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. I assume you guys are long resting now. I assume.
well, I'm just discussing what we would do during the long rest.
Right.
One thing I would
Steven,
do
are you
is-
away from your mic?
I have it set down so that I'm not breathing into it. Sorry.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, you were a bit quiet,
Um,
but I could still hear you just fine.
Sorry. During the long rest, I would like for at least one trench somewhere to be dug so that I can fill it with water. And then perhaps use control water
Keep
if
in mind,
necessary.
this is a city.
What's...
It is stone.
Oh, the ground is stone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well then I'll just do it.
Very well. Very well.
Don't you? Before the rest.
Hey, there you go.
Eh. I can get rid of this and switch it to,
All right, so you make
How-
it a tiny little space where some water can be put
Yeah.
in. Well, not
so that I can use control water on it.
Indeed.
Also, I have some holy water to douse the head with once we've killed it.
Excellent.
I saved this
Holy-
last bit. I don't even have any more components to make more holy water.
Is that a thing? Does he revive? Because if he's in a hollow, then he can't.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna douse the head just in case it's moved out of the hallow.
True. True and valid.
Nobody wants this thing back. He's lived long enough.
Nobody likes him.
I double support that, Villain will say. But I support that too, Professor Scant will say inside her pocket.
Yeah, and I kept this holy water for this reason, so it'd be a waste not to use it.
Indeed.
So, I believe I'm ready. Once we... Everybody good?
Sure, do you want to mark the spot where you have the
The trench? Yeah,
the
just
trench,
a minute.
Yeah.
I'm going to do... I guess I would make it a circle.
That
What's
works too.
the size? 5 feet in any dimension. That's fine. I'll just do like a little well-ish thing. Let me do some measuring here.
When archaeologists come back to the city and rediscover the game of Chain Lightning, you'll wonder what the well full of water and the purpose of it being
Nah,
hallowed
we've got
was.
Scant knows what the game is. He was privy to it, so he's going to probably be able to publish his information.
Wait, when you're suggesting control water, are you thinking like trying to submerge him and electrocute him with it?
I didn't think that, but I'm glad you did.
Because like
Should I put it
we have a
next to one of these?
we have a fair bit of
Next to one of
flying.
these.
We could possibly like if we could somehow like trick him into being on the ground or being closer to the ground than us.
Or perhaps being thrown to the ground, looking at Hawksville will say.
True.
There.
Right there? Okay, perfect. Right next to the middle trident.
Mm-hmm. So that the lightning can more easily reach.
Excellent, excellent. And don't forget that if you are going to set up those tiny huts, or tiny hut, you do have the area of effect templates. So we got a nice old 10-foot radius here. So I'll put on the token layer. You can go ahead and move that however you wish.
Okay, are we ready for the long rest then?
Might as well, I suppose.
Okay, I'm going to select the button unless Evan stops me.
Stop! No.
Already clicks. Already clicks.
Too late. It's done.
You push the
Cancel.
button.
I
Okay.
wonder if I could rig up these fireball beads to go off individually at the same time instead of.
So I have regained some spells. I am going to not have this on for now because the 24-hour period will be spent just hollowing this area.
Mm-hmm.
Is it what 60-foot radius?
I believe it's
Yeah,
up to a
60-foot
60-foot
radius.
square area, right? So it doesn't have to be a speed.
No, it's
Oh, is it a radius?
radius. Yeah.
Oh, I must have misread. I thought it was like a. You know what? Maybe I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of a different spell, like Guards and Wards or something.
Yeah, Guards and Wards is a square.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so yeah, so it's a 60-foot radius. So
Well, let me put 60 feet on Meepo's token so I can see how big that is.
ah,
If I go here, it's nearly the entire stadium from there.
yeah. So if you want to put it right there, because if you do, I can just put like a freehand paint line, of like where the edges of it are, just so you don't have to have the aura on the whole time.
Right. I'm just trying to like map out. I would probably go just to this side of the.
Probably.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so let me do a little bit of painting. All right, there's one line.
The area inside of here is basically just going to like have the sound of trickling water and
That's not as straight as it could have been, but
soft wind blowing, and then like the scent of like a clean spring and like soft mist just kind of filling it.
as you begin to cast the spell, the area kind of like starts to take that form. You can all feel and smell this aroma surrounding you. So, it takes 24 hours to cast the spell. So, what are you guys doing in the meantime as Meepo is casting this? So, this long rest has happened. You go through it without issue. You've reset everything.
You know what? Do I have? I probably don't. I probably used up too much of my armor scraps, didn't I?
Well, here's a question.
Yeah.
We're planning on potentially dismantling this place anyway. If you need raw material, can I take down one of these tridents?
Or the stairs.
I'm just saying, if he needs raw material to make stuff, well,
I was thinking like, Forte could really use some armor for this. It probably won't help, but
I will go into battle, bloodied and scarred. Which reminds me, I need to reset her health. She's back at full.
poison damage. What's it for?
There we go.
It's
So, yeah, you could attempt to remove one of the tridents if you wished. How you do so is up to you. I will say they are still humming with electrical energy.
But even if I take some damage, I could potentially still be okay by the time it gets to the battle, considering how long the Hallow is going to take. So I will try to just take it down with my axe.
Okay.
Let's get down to here.
Go ahead and make an attack roll then.
Yes.
29 to hit for. Oh, I will say you are big. You are your normal
normal size, yeah.
Yeah, normal size.
huge.
All right, 29 for 9 points of damage. For touching it, you will take not a lot, but some. 2 points of lightning damage.
Oh yeah, this is nothing then. And then because it is an adamantine weapon,
It's an automatic crit, right?
It's automatically a crit, yeah. So there should be another D8 of damage. Okay, one more damage.
Okay. You start to chop into it, and you can clearly see this will take a little bit of effort. You can start to see the axe denting the metal of the trident. It's going to take some more effort than that, you feel. Go ahead and make another attack roll.
If it's gonna be an automatic crit, I might as well use one of my uses of Enlarge and also one of my uses of Giant's Might. And that way I'll get an additional D8 and D4 on each hit.
Fair enough.
Clang. So that's an automatic crit, so there is 3 more D8s then. 1 from the original D8, 2 from Giant's Might. And then there is also a pair of D4s from Enlarge.
Okay. That is
So the rate at which I'm going through this should have improved considerably here.
Yes, vastly improved. It is still up, however, you feel like another good hit would do it. You take another 3 points of lightning damage, so make one more swing.
Bonk.
28, okay.
Same situation, theoretically.
Yeah.
Bonk. Bonk.
Okay, you take 1 point of lightning damage. Perhaps due to your giant's constitution, the lightning doesn't seem to affect you very much as you start to chop, chop, chop. And eventually you hear clang, clang as the axe now, instead of denting the metal, now begins to cleave straight through the metal. And you hear a as it begins to fall over. Now I gotta roll something here. Which direction is it gonna go? Okay, so it starts to fall in the southern direction. You just kind of step out of the way, and you hear it goes clang, 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 right on top of where the trophy pedestal used to be.
Okay, raw materials acquired.
I mean, at this point, you will see
Uh.
the trident just begin to. The hum now disappears.
Okay, and so I have lost 7 hit points total, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Yeah, 7 hit points total. My second wind puts that back to full.
Alright, there you go.
And then if I take a short rest, I'll get the second wind back, which...
Let's,
Hey!
Yep.
well, in that case,
In that case, what will you do with this extra
Um,
material?
what will I do with the extra channels? Could I perhaps upgrade Morte's beak axe with a bit of lightning damage?
An interesting thought. Go ahead and make for me, if you're gonna do like a rudimentary, just kind of like makeshift attachment to this, making. I kind of envision it like getting like the 3 tines, like almost like a trident beak, like vertically.
Yes, right. Like just like getting these shards of it and just kind of like welding them onto the edge, make it a bit serrated.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Go ahead and make just a straight Arcana check for me. No advantage, no disadvantage.
Okay, a little bit advantage. Probably not got Cloboldening anymore. And Arcana.
Natural 20.
Spicy.
It is going to take you some time. This is a tricky material to work with.
Yep.
It is very hard. However, with the natural 20, it does take you time, but you do manage. You do manage to attach the shards of this trident, still humming with a little bit of electrical energy, just the very faintest sparks of it, and you attach it to Marte's metallic beak. So she now gets an extra d6 of lightning damage to her attacks.
What?
So let me just modify that in her stat sheet here.
Making her more powerful.
Alright, let me test this out. Should be working now. Hold on. There we go. Come on, computer, don't be slow on me. There we go, 6 slashing, 6 lightning. There we go. It works.
It works.
And another flash of your brilliant genius, Skinnock.
Mad genius. Mad.
Your mad genius has proved fruitful once again. Again, I continue to be impressed, Master Skinnock. Yeah, your mad cackling just fills the stadium.
That's how we
With
learn
all the
them.
noise that those two are making, Meepo isn't hearing any of it. Meepo's basically in like a trance and like glowing this greenish blue, and it's like as you get closer to Meepo, the sound muffles.
Exactly.
Good.
Alrighty. So, is there anyone else that's doing something during this time?
Taking a short rest to get my second wind back.
Okay. So some time has passed, so I'm going to start rolling some D100s here. Okay. Let me double check something real quick. So I would say within the first 2 hours, you got the Trident thing done.
Something shows up. Our goal is to protect Meepo so that Meepo can continue to.
Yeah. I feel like after this, no, not again. No.
There's a mound of snow in the middle of the arena that we didn't notice before.
Unbeknownst to you guys, a year has passed with the weird time travel shenanigan with the obelisk. Therefore,
No.
Oral has come again. Ah, no. No.
We've gone back in time a year.
Back in time. Okay, so I will say during this time you start to notice some Nothics prowling around the edge of the arena at the end of the 3rd hour.
Yeah, well, our hope was to do initial preparations and then use the tiny hut to hollow, right?
Indeed.
In that case, are you going to tiny hut around Meepo in that sense?
Yes. That was my suggestion, but obviously we do not have to do that if people who can actually cast tiny hut do not wish to.
I can cast it ritualistically, if need be.
I love my tiny hut. I'll do that.
Very well. Alright, so Scales, you go ahead and protect Meepo with your tiny hut. Yeah. You'll just see the Nothics start to prowl around the edges. Just kind of like scowling, just kind of like chittering in their strange sort of tongue. Let me throw something here. Okay. Do any of you do anything as they approach? It's kind of like, well, not really approach. They're just kind of like scouting around the arena, just scowling, prowling. Anything you're doing? Should we scare them off, or do you think it's worth it?
Well, we can try, probably.
We could just go into the hut as well. Just wait them out. I'm sure they'll get bored eventually.
Happy hut time. Oop, that's not
Yeah,
that's
Muerte
not-
does actually does not fit into the hut entirely. Well, actually, she can technically if she like goes. Oh. Yeah, that can work there. Yeah, Meepo goes up one space they can fit in. Hawks is too big either way.
Villain and Scales just like pick Meepo up and move her slightly.
Yeah, that doesn't disrupt your concentration. You're still concentrating on the ritual.
Full
Well, not the
meditation.
ritual, the spell. But yeah, eventually, like I will say, they look at you, Hawks, and they just kind of look at the hut back to you, and just kind of like you see one of them snarls, and just kind of like starts to take a charge. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and intimidate it in return, maybe?
Sure, go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
See if I can get it to back off. This is one of those things that I've never used, and I'm not sure if I have it in my list of advantage thingies, but I don't think I do.
Kind of ironic.
Oh, I do! From the Frost Rune! I have intimidation advantage.
Hey!
Yes.
I'm not very charismatic, so I don't really get a big bonus to this, but... Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me roll something as well. Well...
Did he whiff really badly and it worked anyway?
Not quite. He is charging you, but he's like, you see the others, however, they're looking like the no dude, no. They're like shouting at it, like stretching out, like gangly arms reaching out. And there's the single one charges you.
Right,
Okay,
well,
I
no.
can take this on.
Alright, go ahead and roll an attack roll for me.
I get my full suite of multi-attack here.
Sure do.
So, bop, bop, bop.
You slice it in half. They all scream, ah! And they just start running away.
I mean, I tried to warn him.
brings to mind. Would I be able to jerry rig a kind of? I feel like there's a lot of magic going on with that axe already, but I kind of want to see if I can't jerry rig some lightning on that too.
It is technically already a magical item. You think any sort of tampering probably wouldn't bring any additional effect. Merchie's was kind of a unique case because it was like a commonish magical item, like, with the regular stuff. This is like a full-blown, full suite right here. Plus it already has the rune.
Yeah, that does have it. It is a lot of stuff going on. That is also the beginning acts. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
In that case. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put this to the map layer for the thingamabob. All right. So that was the first 3 hours of waiting. Only 21 more to go.
Hurrah.
And for the purposes of this, I'm not gonna do a whole lot with this. I'm just gonna wait for a specific result, essentially. Let's see. What's another 3 hours? 6. Okay. 9. Just. Alright. Another 6 hours come and go. And Meepo continues her ritual.
It's been 9 hours, right?
It's been 9 hours total. So
the
yes,
hut's been recast.
Yeah, hut needs to be recast, and you can get a short rest in, Hawks. I get some of your abilities back if you hadn't already.
I've already maxed out again.
Alright, fair enough. Just making sure, just double checking. Okay. Another 3 hours will come. Okay, that's 12. The overwhelming scent of springtime, sweet summer air, pond water, just fills the space, and that muffling sound kind of gets stronger, but you all can speak normally. It's as if a serene calm comes over the stadium, and even the intense hum of the trident that you're next to becomes a gentle buzz, like that of a hummingbee. So that of a bumblebee. Sorry, a hummingbee. So go again. Okay. 15 hours into the ritual. You will see an entourage of people. Or rather, what were once people. Skirt the edges of the arena. You see the familiar entourage of a Rio Larthus and his Nothic cronies. But there is one other individual that attends them as well. Veneranda, who is keeping a bit of a distance between her and her master, but she is definitely following far behind.
I was afraid of that. I had an idea, and I should have suggested it earlier. Oh.
We'll see a real Larthus come closer. So currently, the Hallow is not in effect.
Right, and we've got like 7 hours.
I did say this was a possibility. Now, granted, you do still have the tiny hut that has been recast.
Yeah, and I was going to suggest the thing I was thinking of. I should have suggested is that if I guess it would be difficult to juggle both of these, but if Morte is reduced and Hawks is reduced, then that should be enough space for all of us.
If Muerte is reduced and Hawks is reduced,
But I do understand if I didn't say it early enough, and so
I
we
would
now have to
probably
deal with
say
this.
you didn't say it earlier enough. Unfortunately,
Yes.
you kind of
Okay.
you kind of like expect it, but not
Okay.
quite expect this scenario exactly. It's a bit too.
No,
late for that, unfortunately.
yeah, we were meant to all be in the hut, and yeah, that. Okay.
All right, so Irio Lothus himself and his entourage will follow swiftly behind, with Veneranda slowly in tow.
Do I use the materials for Hollow Up?
I will say, barrier, no. I will say you don't until you complete the spell. I want to be kind about this. I wouldn't say you use them up until you complete the spell.
But I do use the spell slot.
You do use the spell slot, but I will say you don't use the components.
Okay.
Because I believe, doesn't it say? Technically it says on casting the spell, but I'm going to be nice about this and say you retain the components. Veneranda slowly approaches from behind.
A lot of spellcasting is weird in how stacked the effects are to the beginning and the end of the actual casting.
Indeed.
Alright, well,
Veneranda approaches behind. I can probably hold him back if you give us the staff.
Well, we hid the staff. Wait, no, I'm in the hut actually, aren't I?
You're in the hut.
Can they hear me? Is it time to just come out and hope that we can fight this, or?
I'm kind of inclined to think it is.
All right, fuck it. Gonna come out with my turret.
Mm-hmm.
Would have put that down when they were showing up. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, the thing is-
Tur would have been fair. Tur would have been fair if you saw them.
And
Yeah.
can I circle the hut in the meantime?
I will say at this point, stay where you are, all of you.
So do I need to be on the other side of the hut then?
We can stay. I would say you can get to right there. You can get right there.
Okay.
So, the thing is, we hid the staff. Yep, we hid it away in an undisclosed location.
You will see Veneranda get. Actually, no. You will see she starts casting a spell. You recognize it as Detect Thoughts. Do you wish to stop her, initiate combat, or do you let her do it? Because she won't be able to reach your thoughts to surface level. She will need to try and dive deeper to find this information of you lying.
Interesting. I'm going to try and tank it. I'm going to. I don't know if there's a way to prepare myself mentally for it, but I do have Flash of Genius ready. If I need to
Yeah, I mean that is the way to do it. Actually, Flash of Genius would work for that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I need you to make a Wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay, cool. Rolling up now. Bugger. That's not going to work, is it?
Well,
Yeah.
You will see as you will feel her presence enter your mind as she begins to delve deeply, and you will see the frothy orange liquid inside the frothy orange brine inside of her cranial dome begin to bubble and broil. You destroyed it!
Yeah, the undisclosed location is out of existence. I'll just go ahead and start rolling.
Yeah, I think it's time to roll initiative, everyone. Once I pull this up yeah.
Alright, let's do this.
So it's 11:22 on my end. So we can go ahead and do the first run of combat, and we might end it for the night.
Okay.
Assuming you live that long. What is it?
Ugh. Yeah. Do I got any spells that can just like fuck someone up immediately? I
Probably have.
feel like
So
in
first.
terms of just not have. I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry. I'm just. Oh well. Lucky for you. That was a real Arthas.
Well,
That's a big lull, and honestly, kind of a boon for you in a way.
Yeah.
He does have.
Honestly.
I will say, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He has
Oh, of
legendary
course he
actions.
has legendary.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. Like.
What was that one creature that was previewed that was like instead of having legendary actions, it had multiple turns?
Vecna.
Vecna,
Or
yeah.
yeah, that was an interesting way of doing it.
Surprise, guys! He's Vecna. No. It was a ruse the whole time.
Mhm.
Let's see here.
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
I can't get Sanctuary, but that's probably not a great spell here.
Oh, I already did the Gothic. Hang on. Okay. Scales. I got. Oh, of course. Can't forget to put in good old Muerte. There's a lot going on here. Where is it? Oh, Muerte, no. Muerte.
Wait, hey, you know what? Hmm, not bad.
Villain. Okay, I think that's
It's gonna be
everyone.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give my Flash of Genius to Scales.
Okay.
Scales' initiative. He gets +5 to that.
Alright, so you're at a 10.14 initiative then, Scales. Let me change that
So
for
that
you.
we've got a little bit more. If you want it, that is. But like,
That is fine with me.
yeah, I just feel like we could maybe try to do some shit real quick.
Okay. That'll do it. So, first up in the initiative order is the Nothics. You will see as they will dash this way to get closer to all of you. These two go to Hawks. So these two, not still having their action, they are going to. Yeah.
Suffer the consequences?
Well, in due time. But they're gonna at least try to do something in the meantime. One of them is gonna try and hit you twice with its claws. For a 21 and a 19.
the 21 will hit.
Okay.
Let me double check that. Yes, the 21 will hit. That is my AC.
Alright, you are going to take. Gonna take 4 points of slashing damage. And then one of them, you watch as one of its eyes, the other one's eyes start glowing. And I need you to make a con save for me.
Okay. 15.
15? Okay. You are fine. I need to change music here, actually. It's not good. Oh, you know what? No. I'm gonna stick to Travis Savoy. Travis Savoy never lets me down.
Sure.
Alright, so you, as you kind of like shrug off this gaze, as you start to feel your skin start to flake off a little bit. But everything's fine. So that's the Nautic's turns. Skunnock, it's your turn.
This is going to hurt. Well, Maybe not. There's a possibility that is. Did they like dash to get to me or something?
Oh yeah, they dash to get to you.
That's good. I'm just going to fly up, I think, and probably get an opportunity attack, but that's fine.
Yep,
That's,
you're
that's the
gonna
life I'm
get
going to live.
2 opportunity attacks.
All right, try and hit me.
Well, they'll try. A
Let's see,
23 and a 10.
Oh, do I want to use it? Do I want to use reaction? No, it's a small amount of damage. I'll do.
Okay,
It's
fair
like
enough.
nine tops. I'll be fine.
Alright.
I'll be fine.
The calculating. You take 6 points of slashing
Yep.
damage.
That's not. That's. I, cool. So let's see. Altitude in red, and then just like over this way a bit, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Over the hut. Cool. Yeah, then I'm gonna try and shoot Ethereal, whatever his name is. Ichty boy.
Alrighty.
Okay, no advantage, but up 11, hopefully. 20.
20. Let me check.
Should not have golden up.
20 just matches.
Actually, it shouldn't have had the +2.
It shouldn't have?
I'm going to, yeah, because I had emboldening selected, so I'm going to go ahead and
Okay.
I'm going to burn another Flash of Genius. I know it's maybe a bit risky, but
Okay, fair enough. So with the Flash of Genius and not the +2, it will
23.
hit.
Okay, and that will deal 23 points of fire damage.
Okay. Good to know, good to know. Let me double check. Yep, I was correct. Yep, I was in fact telling the truth, and he does not have any resistance or immunity.
Cool. And then I'm going to have the cannon step back on its turn. Does not get an opportunity attack because they already wasted theirs. And it's going to shoot him as well, I think. Yeah, just go absolutely bonkers with this to try and burst him down before he annihilates us.
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, that's only an 18. Okay.
Okay. An 18 will unfortunately miss. As you see, the tiny skull just like starts to whirl on its side and just kind of like dodges out of the way. You just hear.
Yeah. Yep. Not a great roll. But alright.
Yeah. The once calm and silent skull now begins cackling like a madman.
Yeah, that is my turn, I believe.
Okay. Let's see here. It is. Got some choices to make here. Let's see. Did you go into the hut?
No, I don't think you're able to after you leave it. I'm above the hut.
You can go in and
Oh.
out, but the caster can't leave it without it disappearing.
Okay, in that case, I will absolutely drop back down to that hut.
Okay, good to know, good to know. In that case, he will use one of his legendary actions on his turn. Let me see here. Yeah, he will use a legendary action. Oh man, I have so many choices.
So much power.
I have too much power, man. Yeah, it's gonna do this. It's going to... I'm gonna need you, Hawks, because you're the only one that's outside here. I need you to make a... Oh, gosh. Yeah, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay.
A 4.
I am going to use my Indomitable to reroll that. Won't necessarily be better, but
Alright. You watch as the bright, brilliant gem eyes on this person glow a bright, brilliant green, and then purple, and then blue. You suddenly start to become almost entranced by it for a second, but then you suddenly feel your body become heavy and start to sag. You feel your very bones almost, I feel like they're bursting out of your body. You are considered under a vile curse. During this time, until the curse ends, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. You can repeat this saving throw at the end of each of your turns, ending the curse on a success.
Okay.
Right? So you have, I'll put this little heart here to show that you are cursed. That was the end of that. Meepo, it's your turn. Ha! You remove the curse.
Okay, fair enough.
That's my turn.
Okay, Scales, it is your turn.
Can I bring out my bloody coins and send them out to do battle on my behalf without leaving the...
No. Because it doesn't let spells go through the hut.
Right, and if you tried to throw them out too, you would technically be leaving the hut.
If he casts it inside the hut and they leave, then he's
They
not
can't
casting
leave.
through the
They
hut.
can't. That's...
It doesn't let spells or magical effects leave the hut.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I think it's the magical effects part that really kind of like
Seals it, yeah.
Seals that. Unfortunately, no. Then sorry. A good idea.
I don't mind if you leave the hut and destroy it.
Okay. In that case, I'll go ahead. I'll drop the hut, and I will do as I have always done.
All right. Let me move this out of the way. Okay.
One,
1,
two,
2,
3.
all right.
Ending on a real Arthas.
Alrighty. Make your attacks. Okay, that'll hit. For 33, it is still up. Barely. Also barely still up.
Some of these you would have advantage on.
That is true. So, let's go ahead and say that that third one is the first hit on number 3 next to Hawks.
Okay. So that's 16, 29 for force, alright.
I'm gonna swing again and see if that's a critical hit on that guy.
Fair enough. Let's take that 29, shall we?
You got it. And then I'll do the next one at the actual advantage.
Go right ahead. A 14 just misses, unfortunately. Aha!
We're still emboldened, yeah?
Nope.
Oh,
That
no.
was hours
Oh,
ago.
you're not? Oh, no.
It's your rat balls. That would have been a lot of damage.
That probably would have ended it.
Emboldening Bond is an action, and I used my action to remove the curse from Hawks.
Last one on a real Arthas.
There we go. Just straight. A 21 hits. So 5 points of force damage. Good to know, good to know. You can watch as you see tiny little bone shards begin to split apart from the skull, and it's still cackling mad as it does so. At this point, the skull kind of like starts to split in half slightly at the force of the blow, and you kind of have to like pull your blade at the end of it to get yourself out.
Oh, didn't mean to cast that.
No, I get you. I get you. All right. So is that your turn, Scales?
Um,
Oh, I forgot something.
yeah, I'll go ahead and call that my end of my turn.
Forgot something, so I will ignore that for
Who's that?
now. A little quirk I forgot about something, but that's not relevant at the moment. I forgot about it, so.
Oh no.
We'll leave that be for now. So with your turn, Scales, it's now Hawks' turn. You are currently
Okay,
waylaid by these two beanerinos.
Okay. Well, I am going to try to bop them.
Alright?
I'll do. Are they injured? How injured do they look?
The one on the left looks pretty darn injured. This guy was unfortunately untouched.
Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to go into Giant's Might.
Alright?
I will make one attack against the left guy to start.
Alright, 28 will definitely hit. Still up, but hanging on by just a thread.
Okay, and I'll throw in my Giant's Might damage on that.
Alright, that'll be enough, and that'll take him out. He leaves a corpse behind, making it difficult terrain.
And then, will it be difficult terrain for a huge creature on a?
Oh, for you? No, actually, now I'm thinking about it, it wouldn't be for you. For someone of regular size, no.
And then the other one, I will attack twice for a 28 and a 21.
Alright, yep. 21. Alright, you've bloodied it from that blow.
And then, considering I've gotten one out of the way, what I will do is I will move 5, 10, 15, and I will risk an opportunity attack from it to get up to... Should be able to get to, like, here-ish?
Yeah. Well, there is the trident in the way.
So, okay. So, starting from here, this is 5, 10, 15...
Yeah, you could get about... Yeah, that would... If you're, like, on the edge there, yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if I can do one of, like, these and be on the other side of the trident.
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay, so that'll be one opportunity attack.
Probably will miss, but you never know. Oh, wait. No, I hate it when I do that. I ignore that. 9, so that'll miss.
Okay, and then I will Action Surge.
Okay.
Because Action Surge is awesome. And I will attempt to bop the skull
Alright. Try and bob it.
with 3 more attacks. Bop. Bop.
Alright. 1 will hit.
Bop.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, I did use my Giant's Might, so I don't get to apply the Giant's Might damage to the crit, but...
Alright.
A lot of damage. That's even like a decent roll as well, which is amazing.
But,
Decent damage
yeah.
roll.
So, if the 20 and the 30 both hit, that's 33 damage.
Okay.
Magical slashing.
Ariolithus took quite a big blow from that. Is that your turn, Hawks?
Yes.
Okay. It is now Ariel Larthus' turn.
Although he is resistant to magical slashing.
He is resistant, yes. That is true. You need to remember that. As you cut into Ariel Larthus, you see there's almost like a central core where the two gems are. And you see the skull begin to splinter and shake as you with each individual blow. But then you watch as the skull focuses attention not just on you, but on everyone. I need... Let's see. I need Scales, Meepo. Yeah, Scales, Meepo. I'm gonna target Valin too. So I need you all to make con saves for me.
23.
Okay. Oh, actually, no, not you, Hawks. This was
What effect-
Scales, Meepo, and Valin.
What effect will this apply? Because some people may have like abilities to divert it or ignore it. Or...
This is not an attack roll.
Does it do like a fear effect or charm effect?
This is not a fear effect or a charm effect. This is a draining effect as you feel your life force begin to be pulled away from you.
I don't have emboldening on.
A 19? You just pass, Meepo, with just the 19. So, let's see here. Let's see here, double check here. Yeah, Scales and Villain are gonna take 21 points of necrotic damage. And you will watch as the skull begin to repair itself. And no, your hit point maximum is not drained. So that is very important to say. It regains its legendary actions as well. Yep, that is its turn. Except, you know what? No, it's gonna float up around the top of your height level, Hawk, so that you don't get an opportunity to attack with it. So right now it's hovering. How tall are you?
I am huge, so I would be 21 feet.
Okay, so it's hovering 20 feet.
Yes, I believe I'm 20. I believe the spear actually, the effects of the thing specifically made me 21 feet.
Okay.
So it leaves my range.
Yeah.
It leaves your range, yes. So if you wanted to give a little shank, you certainly can. Hey! What do you cast? It does have to be an effect that targets it as well.
Ariel Arthas.
Alright. You watch as the lance dives towards the middle of its skull. And you see it has no effect. It is both immune to psychic damage. Actually. Yeah, so it won't take the psychic damage, but something else might happen. Let me double check something here. Okay. Alright, so this is an int save. So it won't take any damage, but a 19. So okay, so it's not incapacitated.
Okay.
It's funny, it's immune, so I guess I'll reveal something. It's immune to stun, but not incapacitated. That's an important distinction here.
It's immune to charm because I might just throw my cloud rune at it for shits and giggles, or my
You can try.
stone rune.
You can try. You're gonna try?
No, I see that big suit of armor with the sword, and I'm thinking maybe a greatsword swing redirected somewhere would be a better use of my time. So I'm gonna hold off on it for now. As much as I'm tempted, maybe once he's the only threat.
Fair enough. That is the end of Aurel Arthas' turn. Lich Lord of Yithrin. It's now Valin's turn. Valin's like... Valin's doesn't know what to do. She's like, oh, there's so much going on. Should I attack them? Should I just attack the stragglers, or should I attack him?
Hit the stragglers, I guess?
Right. She goes down here. She casts Lightning Bolt. She has all her spells back, so she doesn't feel afraid of using that. Let's see here.
Just a bit less potential chaos going on.
Alright. Okay, and it deals enough damage where actually, even if halved, it still takes both of them out.
Okay.
She'll just conjure this bolt of lightning. Okay, there we go. Less to worry about. But there's still that. And she just points towards the real Arthas. She'll just kind of scurry over this way. At the end of Valin's turn, the real Arthas uses a legendary action. Because he has gotten them back. Let me see. I'm going to need everybody. Actually, wait, hold on. Not everybody. Well, not Valin. But basically all the player characters. Scales, Hawks, Meepo, Muerte, and Skinnock to make con saves for me.
Okay. Constitution saving throw. 15.
Oh, wait, hold on. I did the wrong thing for Muerte. 16. Okay. 16, 15, 19, 23. Okay. For everyone who got below a 19, your hit point maximum, this is different from the life drain ability. This is its energy drain. Each creature within 30 feet. Oh wait, hold on. I'm wrong. You've got below a 15, so that's nobody. So, nothing happens to you. You're all fine. Thankfully. So with legendary action concluded, it is now Veranada's turn. You will watch as you start to see Veneranda come into combat. You will notice, in a combat capacity, that the jar and the suit of armor she's attached to move separately from each other.
Oh.
You will watch as the brain in the jar that is Veneranda slowly turn towards all of you. And let me double check the range on this, because I need to bring out a cone. A very familiar cone, which I think you all know.
Not the cone.
Oh yes, the cone. Specifically. Actually, where's the cone? Oh, there it is. A 60-foot cone. So, I'm going to need... Yeah, it gets basically everyone, including the minion over here. And you realize this, however, he is immune to psychic and stunned. So I need Scales, Hawks, Meepo, Scales. Oh, sorry, Skinnock. I said Scales twice. And Muerte to make intelligence saving throws for me. Okay. Let me see here. 16, 17, 23, 12.
Do I want to... Do I need to? Yes.
Are you going to use Flash of Genius, or do you have any more left?
Thinking. Panic, 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 panic.
Act quickly, my friend.
Yeah, you know what? Lowest person scale is good to plot a genius.
Okay. Let me see here. You take.
That'd bring you up to 17.
Yeah, so let me double check for Muerte, because she needs to roll the save as well. So if you wanted to hold that for just a second, in case you wanted to.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, just in case. I don't want to be like, oh, but then I roll Muertes and now you can't do anything. Let me just quickly do that.
There.
Okay, she rolled a 5.
Yeah, probably low. Might
And
be
probably
able to
too
save.
low for that. Probably better for scales, honestly. So, Muerte is stunned, and she takes... Oof, 26 points of psychic damage, and she is stunned. So she only needs to make that save at the end of each of her turns. Actually, let me double check and see if she can re-roll ability check, or saving throws. Let me double check.
Do we all take half damage, or?
You actually don't take any damage.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
save
how
it.
smart we are.
Yeah, okay, she can re-roll a saving throw that she fails, but must use the new roll. So she's actually going to roll this again, just to see.
Of course.
Natural 20. Wow! My girl! Alright. Perfect, alright, so that is Veronata's turn. And now the not stunned Muerte takes its turn. Muerte Blanca.
Okay, but the armor didn't make a move or anything.
The armor didn't make a
Didn't
move.
attack.
You get the sense that they are, in essence, two separate creatures.
Do I remember offhand? Did I attempt to use the stone rune on one of the brains in a jar in the party?
I actually think you... I don't remember if you did. I'll say just quickly roll just a quick Arcana check with advantage.
With advantage. Well,
11.
11.
I'd say
I'm going to.
You can attempt it. You're not sure.
I'm going to attempt it on the brain in the jar. So that is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, let me double check, just to be sure.
And this is charm, so if it's immune to charm, then it does nothing.
Okay, I'm checking. Okay. A wisdom save, you said.
Yes.
She is not immune to charmed. Let me see here. What's the DC on this one?
Should be a 16.
Not that. You'll watch as the brain, you see as Federata's brain just flips upside down in the jar.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stop that for a second.
Also, the Nothic needs to make an insight. I completely forgot about that. Nothic also takes damage, which I rolled earlier. So I'll keep the roll that I did, which is a lot of damage. To be fair. So Muerte, in the midst of running past this Nothic, will take a swipe at it, because she has multiple attacks. Which will definitely hit. Which will also definitely kill this Nothic. It's gone. A little bit of difficult terrain going through here, but she has a 50-foot move speed. I would say she has maybe just enough to get there. So she is going to attack the brain in the jar, which has advantage because the brain in the jar is stunned.
It is incapacitated.
Well, it's incapacitated. No, so it's not stunned. Okay, good to know. So it actually doesn't get advantage, but she will still try and attack it.
And this is not a charm that ends when they take damage.
Oh, it's so nasty.
Oh, it's absolutely horrendous.
15. Does that... let me see here.
Well, should it be
Is she
18?
using any hit points?
She was not missing any points, no. Yeah, because that's the first time she's been attacked.
Should it be the 18 since they're incapacitated, or?
Well, it doesn't get advantage. Because it's incapacitated, not stunned.
Hmm.
Incapacitated just means you can't take actions or reactions. Stun is the one that gives you advantage to hit. Still, though, 15 does hit. So now she will take 10 points slashing and 3 points of lightning. Let me double check. She has 2 health, occupying same space, separate hit bars. Okay. And with that, as the combat gets closer to the thick of the fight, and as this round ends, really quickly, I'm going to say a real Larthus will use a legendary action. If you're the only one affected by this, I need to make a con save for me, Hawks. 20? Okay. You watch as a real Larthus crumbles into dust. It suddenly begins swirling around everything within 10 feet. However, you, being on the ground, Scales, you're fine. Because he's 20 feet up in the air. Yeah, you see that the dust tries to get into your eyes, Hawks, but you just kind of like shake it away with your big, giant hand. And you are fine. You are not blinded.
It wouldn't matter if I was.
Exactly. He doesn't know that. He's crazy. But it's his turn. And with that craziness, we're going to end this session here for tonight. And continue the combat next time.
Yeah.
Attempting to blind Hawks.
Truly, he is a fool.
Look, not everyone's going to know you're unable to be blinded, alright? Like, it's just...
Yep.
It's supposed to make you feel cool, darn it. In any case, if you've been watching, thank you very much. We all really appreciate it. Wherever you are, hope you're staying safe. But we'll catch you next time. But until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.